Good evening. My name is Dr. Ankur Khairwal. I am the Secretary to the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to this highly insightful webinar on bank audit automation organized by the Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI. In today's rapidly evolving financial and regulatory environment, automation has become a game changer in bank audits. From streamlining processes to enhancing accuracy, compliance, and fraud detection, technology is transforming the audit landscape. This session aims to equip our members with the latest tools, techniques, and best practices in in automatic bank audits, ensuring efficiency and real-time monitoring. We are honored to have with us our distinguished leaders whose vision and dedication continue to drive technological advancements in ICAI. CA Dayanivas Sharma ji, Chairman Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, ICAI, a visionary leader who has been instrumental in spearheading digital transformation initiatives. CA Arpit Kabra ji, Vice Chairman DAB, whose insights and expertise have greatly contributed to shaping innovative auditing methodologies of our members. On behalf of DAB, I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers, CA Premnath D. Ji and CA Vijay Srinivas Ji, and all the participants who have joined us today. We appreciate your commitment to staying ahead of the curve in the era of digital audits. With that, let's dive into today's session and explore the future of bank audit automation. I now, I now request and invite CA Arpit Kabra ji, Vice Chairman DAB, to share his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ankur. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this first ever webinar in this new year, as we say, of the ICI. As we take charge of DAB under the leadership of Dayanivas ji, I think someone who has really brought a lot of action in this committee. And, if anything that has to go with technology, one man who has been synonymous is Dayabhai. And DAB has really made sure that, we touch, move, and actually inspire a whole lot of not only members and students, but also every ecosystem that is essential for us as chartered accountants to establish our dominance in any space, be it bank audits, be it any other audits, be it forensics, be it investigation, be it monitoring and whatnot. Coming to today's session, I think today we've got wonderful speakers here, Premnath ji and Vijay ji. I think both of them are masters of, and they are so well with technology that everyone, it's in their DNA now, and everyone in the firm carries the same DNA. So today I'm sure we'll have a wonderful session on how we can automate, because this season is now for bank audits, and this is one of the most awaited seminars in terms of how can we automate. As I've always been talking about, if anything that is repetitive and anything that is monotonous, just automate it. And today we're going to see that how can we do it. You know the why, you know the when, you know the what to do, but how to do. I think this is the session for that. Also, DAB will continue bringing in a lot of inspirational sessions in terms of how can you actually adopt automation in your day-to-day life in offices. Our target is, in C office, everything that we do, we should have that spark, that edge of automation in almost every aspect. One of the most important being documentation. And today, therefore, we'll be addressing that same here. Also very important, apart from these two wonderful faculties, there is a very, very, very super surprise for each one of you. We're launching a wonderful tool. To know more about that, I invite my chairman of DAB, Dayabhai, to please address all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arpit, and indeed a pleasure to be the chairman with you. 6 years, I was the vice chairman of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, and you take my position as a vice chairman of Digital Accounting and Insurance Board. It means that I am seeing you in me. As simple as that. To start with, I would like to welcome you to DAB. Indeed, a fantastic day, because this is the first day where we have initiated the process of holding the webinar. And no other person than Mr. Premnath and Vijay Srinivas, who actually initiated this process. Why not we think about taking a webinar on this particular topic, which is automation of bank audit. And most importantly, friends, let me tell you, this being the first webinar of Digital Accounting and Assurance Board for 25-26, I can tell you one thing is, along with the Vice Chairman and the Secretariat, we are going to do a lot of magical things during this year. And the focus is not only from practicing member point of view, but also from the industry point of view, how things have to be automated and how we need to move forward. We have done a great amount of work towards AI, but the fact is the A is been done, B, C, D is still there. And E is the essence of chartered accountancy profession. E is the ethical quotient and ethical point, which we all as chartered accountants have followed to the toppest spirit. Now, B, C, D, I'll talk about it sometime later, but today let us talk about the bank audit. B means bank audit, right? So bank audit is the flavor of the day, and shortly it is going to be on the nose for every chartered accountant to complete the work within time, and there will be a lot of pressures which are going to come in. And what a beautiful thing which we have done. I can't even imagine. I would love to get those young people before us and hug them for the work which is being done for developing this tool. Friends, this today's seminar or webinar which is there is primarily on how effectively and qualitatively with accuracy you can do a bank audit, with ensuring a fact that the compliance of requirement of law, whether it is long form audit report, whether it is compliance of advances, whether it is compliance of deposits or anything, when you talk about any banking regulation act which you and I have to certify, have to go with an accuracy. Today the game is how accurate and chartered accountant is able to report with no or minimal errors, because errors are subjective, and you can debate on that on the other side. But today's seminar, when we are talking about automation, I am really happy that this point which my vice chairman has particularly talked about, launch. I'll just say a little differently. It is basically a launch of a new thoughts in the profession of ICAI. It's a new thing which is going to be reported. And today, what Mr. Premnath and Vijay Srinivas is going to talk about, I don't want to talk or steal their words, because they want to appreciate someone who supported them in developing this particular tool. Let the privilege and the credit be taken by those two people rather than chairman, vice chairman and I talking about it. But one thing today I'll tell you, whoever is going to miss this video or live session today, I am pretty confident that that person is going to go back. A person, when he get to know, he's going to go back and watch this video again without fail. And that is what we are trying to do. This automation which we are talking about, because of the huge database which is there and the large number of compliance that we need to do from the tick point of view or statement point of view, all are being covered in this single automation which we are talking about. And today's discussion is just a beginning of a new era of this profession, and it is going to be much more in time to come very soon, not too longer. Wait and watch what digital assurance is going to deliver this year. Is going to be something where we have to match our spirits of the previous years and take things forward. So this is something which I would like to tell. Bank audit with automation tool, see the magic, and you will get a feeler of it with these two gentlemen who are actually sitting with us. So let us, do you want a launch of the new era, Arpit Bhai, or what do you want to do? You decide. You are having the authority, and let us take it forward with the same spirit of a new learning.
Thank you, Dabai. Thank you, Dabai, and for all the audience, for all the viewers who are here. I'm sure you must have understood why are we very excited, and naturally so, because what we are setting up today is a dream that we both saw when we first joined in the council. I from 12th Feb onwards, and I discussed this with Dabai. And one thing that we want to ensure for all the chartered accountants is, you pick up any topic, you pick up any aspect of auditing, and if you ever found that it is becoming cumbersome, it is becoming tiresome, it is becoming monotonous, it is becoming dry, we are here to change that entire concept. And that will happen in a beautiful manner with the use of these tools and technology that we are launching today. In fact, these are stepping stones to launching a full-fledged product where we want to ensure that just as you file return of income, before filing return of income, you find a list of errors that are there, forced, unforced, or whatever. Before filing a balance sheet, before finalizing a balance sheet, you will find these kind of AI-based recommendations that will talk about, have you considered this aspect in your audits or not? And to start off with, we're doing this with bank audits. Bank audit mein, as thereby mentioned, you talk about LFAR, you talk about CCOD statements, you talk about any aspect of auditing. Everything is there in this one wonderful tool. And I don't know, I don't want to leave it to both these gentlemen to say this, but I want to happily share that this tool actually has been developed by the article trainees of these two gentlemen. Of course, under the guidance and leadership of both of them, they've spearheaded this. But in a record time of around 2 days, 2 to 3 days. So of course it was a big sketch, but they've launched this. I think let's have a huge round of applause for both of those people for making this happen. And Premnath and Vijay. So I think we've created enough of the suspense. Let me quickly introduce both the faculties today. Of course, as you can see on the screen, they are partners. They are DSA system auditors, FFD, of course, forensics, PMLA. They are visiting faculties, 25 years of experience in financial accounting, auditing, investigations, multiple sectors like cement, software, infra, pharma. Academically, they are very strong. They've been contributing to ICAI through their bank audit guidance notes. You'll find these names very familiar. They're the member of FRRG, peer reviewer, the peer review manual, everything which has to do with the audits. I think they have been around, and on IT and member CRC, AI committee, faculty group. So that's Mr. Premnath for you. Let's welcome him with a huge round of applause, of course, virtually. The other speaker, Vijay Bhai, CA Vijay Srinivas Kothapalli. He's a postgraduate commerce and law graduate and fellow chartered accountant based out of Hyderabad, a partner in C. Ramchandran and Company. Both are partners. And he's also a CISA and certified in cyber security and an insolvency professional. He has completed advanced diploma in cyber security and data protection laws, has 6 post-qualification certification of ICAI, including anti-money laundering, AML, diploma in information system audits, forensic accounting, fraud detection, Ind AS. He is the winner of ICAI Artificial Intelligence Hackathon. Yes, friends, this is one absolutely wonderful series that was launched by the AI committee, the AI Hackathon. And we have the winner, CA Vijayji of the ICAI Artificial Intelligence Hackathon, and rightly so. And therefore, he is presenting what he is presenting today. Is also a member of the Hyderabad group of FRRB, expert group of content development of AICA level 1, and empanel peer reviewer. Academically, again, he's been very strong in terms of notes on bank audits, peer review manual, urban cooperative banks, cyber security. Services in the area of information system and security audits have been remarkable. And he has actually been a policy maker on cyber security policies, anti-bribery, anti-money laundering, peer review, IT, IS audits, Excel, data analytics, and the list goes on and on. So let's have a huge round of applause once again for both of our faculties. I welcome both of you, and I request you to please initiate this session today, and please take us through the entire automation, the journey of automation. I really request every one of you today to please keep a book handy with you. Please keep making notes. See, this will be there on YouTube. You can always refer this session again, but just don't try, don't mix things with others. Keep making notes. Everything will be shared with you. The tools and all, of course, it will take some time because we'll be hosting it on our website, on the web page of the ICAI website, and a link will be circulated to you separately. Whoever has attended today, we've got their credentials, and maybe we'll circulate through the chat box as well. Please keep asking questions. Ankur is there in the background while we'll be presenting. Ankur is there. Amit ji is also there in the background, who will be taking up the questions, and we'll be interacting with Premnath ji and Vijay ji. Both of them will be taking these sessions together. And stay tuned, because there's something exciting that's going to happen. And of course, more importantly, I invite all of you to this bank audit. So the allocation or not is a separate question, but if and when you get those bank audits, let's try using automation and give some wonderful results. Have those important analytics done, which most of these people would have dressed, or most of these people would have hidden under some or the other ways. But yes, let's try and adopt automation and implement it this audit season. With these words, welcome all of you. Once again, Premnathji, Vijayji, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Prema sir, if you permit me, I'll just start and I'll hand it over to you, and I also display the disclaimer with regard to the tools what we demonstrate. And thank you, DAP committee, under the leadership of the SR and Arpit sir. I'm sure we are going to have wonders this year, and breakthrough year, maybe I can call it as, when it comes to 2025, the kind of, and also President, Vice President for the support what they are giving in terms of coming up with the technological advancements. And thanks for all the participants who have registered here. So let me just display one disclaimer before we proceed with, because obviously this is one of the requirement. Kindly know that whatever we are demonstrating, nothing neither the DAP committee nor ICAI nor any of us are endorsing. It is only for the illustration purposes. And whatever we are demonstrating, it may not be working in the real world. It's again has its own this thing. So kindly please consider. And like any other tool, it's the owner's responsibility or the user's responsibility has to take care of the privacy, the confidentiality, and all that stuff. So with that display, let me hand over the proceedings to Prem Nasan. So please continue.
Thank you. Thank you very much, respected senior members, then DAP Chairman and Vice Chairman, sir. At the outset, I thank DAP for giving this opportunity. Now I can say that Usain Bolt has broken his own records trying to establish new records. And then at some point of time, he tired of establishing his own records. But here we have a young CCM who has never tired of establishing his own new records. He breaks a record and then he goes away, he goes forward and then puts one more record there, and then he tries to keep breaking, and he's never tired. And I don't want him to get tired, number one. Number two, like a human being has a shadow, wherever he goes, he takes me and Vijay Srinivas as a shadow. Even if he doesn't take, we follow him wherever he goes, like Vodafone, wherever you go, the signals follow in that way. Thank you very much, Daya sir, for always reposing faith on both of us, trust. If you are not there, if you are not encouraged, today we wouldn't have done these kind of initiatives either at AI or at DAB or at peer review or at many other places where you have taken. You have given a free hand, not only to us, as you give free hand to the employees, to the executives, you also give a very free hand. That is simply trusting. You trust people, and which has made us to do these kind of things. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
And you have a wonderful vice chairman now again, Arpit Kabra. So this year, from the next 4 years, I think the DAB is going to break all the your records that you have put in any other things. I wish the members at large will get benefited. I can say even Mahatma Gandhi is not here today, but his photos are there on the currency note. I expect some kind of such kind of things that will be left out in the ICAI forever. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is the passion and commitment. Yeah. I'm not exaggerating, but I'm just saying the truth. Okay. Yeah. Coming back again today to the to this webinar, I'll just share with a formal PowerPoint, and as as I go along with Srinivas sir, both Vijay Srinivas sir and myself will be presenting simultaneously. Yeah. 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 So today we have made the painful point, the most painful point in audit is documentation. So wherever what automation does is it removes the pain point. So as Vice Chairman said, be that whether you have a bank audit or not, audit is going to be there, bank is going to be there, automation is going to be there. So when automation is there, bank is there, audit is there, all the three are important. If I am not getting a bank audit, but I get a bank statements of any other audit, so I need to verify those bank statements. Verifying hundreds of bank statements is a painful process. Okay, but today the automation with Python and so on is as much easy as the pain of looking at different red flags can be removed in no time. Let me just try to demonstrate. How a bank statement can be analyzed in no time with Python. So I've just made this, and then this is the Python code. Using any AI tools, I can write Python tool. Like Arpit sir and then Daya sir was saying, tool will be shared. Giving a tool is like giving a fish to you. And you know the Chinese proverb that we are not interested in distributing fish, but you should learn how to fish. The fishing is trained here. So I'm just demonstrating a Python code. This Python code, those who have attended the ICAI classes, they can very well carry out these kind of Python using many hackathons have been there. Using these latest available tools, you can AI tools and all, you can generate these kind of code. And then once I click on this, loading a bank statement, this is the network diagram from the bank statement it develops. And this is the network diagram. It is from the bank statement, be that if you are in bank statement, if you are in bank audit, load the transactions of the bank statement into it. Now it will demonstrate whether which is shell company, which is related party, which is offshore entity, which is e-commerce store, landlord, whatever it is. In no time, you'll get the red flags identified by a Python tool. And this tool is prepared, as sir was saying, prepared by a first-time article student using the tools that are available today. So what I'm saying is the pain point is removed with automation. Come back again. These are the patterns in bank statement. These are the patterns in bank statement. Of a loan statement, you can analyze the minus transactions or the receipts. Receipts are the minus transactions, whereas you can see, it is the reverse. You see here there are more number of payments than less number of receipts. Minus indicates payments because it's a CC loan, and you have a very less recoveries, very less receipts, business receipts, whereas you have more number of business payments. This itself is indicating that the transactions in the loan statement are not according to the CMA data they have projected. Now you can see the frequency, amount distribution, transaction amount distribution is more in this range. Okay. Next, by time wise, looking at the time wise, you have more payments on Saturdays and Sundays. This is something abnormal. anomaly, more number of payments in the February month, which is a July month is a time when the July month is a time where the CC accounts are renewed and hence more active. And February is more active because the year-end transaction they have to nullify. I hope you understand how tools will help us to design the audit program. As I've stated again, yeah, right. So we are saying that compliance to peer review documentation is mandatory now. Documentation itself is a pain process today. So how do I use the tools for documentation? I request Vijay sir to, sir, you are available, sir? Yeah.
Yes.
I request Vijay sir to start with starting from the acceptance procedures, how you can use tools. Vijay sir will take up, and then I'll join with the rest of in next five minutes. Once he is done with it, then I'll come back to the other things. Yes, sir. Just stop sharing, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, all. Once again, welcome back after the initial. So, nothing much. I mean, when we try to use this communication, of course, we are attracted towards using more of Gemini or Gmail kind of communications than a domain-based email ID. Most of, even for those entities, those who have a domain-based email ID, they still are inclined towards having one or other personal email IDs like Gmail and all. So maybe at this point of time, we can use a Gmail for a reason that the AI tool which has been integrated into Gmail, like you have Gemini, you have Google Studio, you have Notebook LM. These are the things. Of course, for those people who have already attended the ACS certification, they can very much relate to all these things. So what we thought is, if in case I want to create a trail of communication, let's say I've received a appointment letter from a banker, and if in case I want to create a trail of the communication, I've just uploaded a particular appointment letter and also a randomly mentioned the bank name with an appointment letter where there is also the previous auditor information and all. Okay, so I thought, why not make a trial of this and use the Gemini to communicate the NOC and also to respond back to the mail what we have received. Okay, of course, as I said, whatever we are doing is just a demonstration. It's up to, again, we need to consider a lot many things like confidentiality, security, all that aspects we have to consider. It's only that if in case you are trying to organize, having one particular trial of all the communication, whether it is appointment or NOC, that will give much more comfort for us. So let's say if I'm trying to communicate in Gmail, so as you can see, this particular account is linked to the same Gmail ID where I've opened my Gmail, and I'm using this Gemini to communicate, because what the advantage Gemini Advanced gives is you can communicate with all the Google Studio related workspace. Okay, you have Google Docs. You can just select Google Doc and mention a particular document name. It will search through that particular document throughout the folder and provides you the summary into that. Let's say, for example, you have a bank audit guidance note in Google Drive. You don't need to open the Google Drive and again browse to the bank audit guidance note. You can simply place that in Google Drive and put a prompt in a bank audit as per this particular clause. What is that audit procedure has been suggested? So you can interact at one place because you are creating a trail of the communication. That's the advantage you will have at one place. And also you can use this technology in a different way. Let's say, for example, as a sample, I'm just, as I said, AI is something which requires a lot of narrowing of the prompt, and being a demonstration, I'm not prepared the prompt in advance, so that otherwise you people may feel that, okay, this is something which I've already done background work kind of thing. So I just want to demonstrate live. Let's see how it works. So I'll say, please provide me a response letter per the bank audit appointment mail received. Okay, so I'm not mentioning any particular subject. I've just connected to the Gmail and I've asked my account to identify that particular email ID and try to respond. As I said, it might give, may not give, because initially I've been trying for a lot many things it could have already given, but just to give an idea about the way you can use. Okay. So you might say, if I'm receiving multiple emails, in that case, it will give the trail of emails. You just need to select which particular email you're trying to respond to. So it will be referring to various things. I found email. So here is a draft. And it says, if you remember, I've just displayed the bank names, the branch names, and accordingly it has picked up. How it has picked up? It has identified that various mails are there, an appointment letter, and accordingly it has picked up, suggesting on the latest one, it says, if this is the one, you can use it. So this letter acknowledges the receipt of your correspondence regarding bank audit for the so-and-so circles, and we appreciate interest. Now, let's also use the same window to communicate back to our branch, previous auditor, with regard to the no objection, because that's one of the criteria, one of the important requirement where I need to communicate with the previous auditor. Okay, it's not exactly an NOC, it has to be a communication with the previous auditor. So I can again refer to the same Gmail, because this has an attachment where it also mentioned about the previous auditor. Okay, I'll say, please generate a communication document to the previous auditor as per the appointment letter attached to the above mail. Okay, if in case it is there, it's fine. Otherwise, it will just reveal what's there. If an appointment letter speaks about previous auditors, wherein they mentioned the previous auditor name, email ID, address, and all, it will pick up from that attachment of the mail and compiles an communication letter, which we fondly call as NOC. Few seconds, I found an email attached so and so NOC to the previous auditor. So it has drafted. This is the name what I've used, the previous auditor name itself. So this is the letter to confirm so and so, so and so. We confirm that we have no objection. Of course, it has drafted the NOC from our point of view. Maybe I could have put the mail saying that if in case I have to come take a request from them, I have to communicate to them asking for a no objection, and probably it would have given. But anyway, as you can see, it has picked up that particular attachment and drafted this. So why we are doing this is, it's not that we don't know draft or we don't have template. As I said, one particular trail, I mean, throughout the bank audit, I'll be using this Gemini, because Gemini is an a LLM, which will help you not just communicating with the Google workspaces. It will also help you to communicate with any information. Like, so you have a clause. Let me just ask Gemini itself here, without referring to that. What are the clauses related to advances as per the latest LFER? Of course, that is 2021. I'll say, please provide it concisely. I'll not ask you to elaborate, because I can just... So the same window, I'm again also communicating on the areas of bank audit. Key areas: large advances, credit appraisal, sanctioning of advances, documentation, review monitoring, asset classification, compliance. These are the 7 list what you can recollect the way LFAR speaks up. So the same window, I'm creating a communication. I'm also communicating with the previous auditor. I'm also using the Gemini to provide me insights. I can also communicate in terms of providing me the checklist, audit procedure, audit memos. You can even ask for a memo template as well, and you put a comment and ask it to generate a memo so that you can communicate directly. So one particular window. Next year, once I just need to rename it, probably I'll just rename it. I'll say bank audit process 24-25. So next time, I don't need to worry about any other thing. I just come back over here and probably export this entire communication, so that it will be a guidance for me the next year. Also, even for otherwise to train my members. So I'll stop my presentation here, and let's move, go back to Premnath sir, and we'll continue the demonstration. So Premnath sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Because this is a joint way of seminar, joint way of webinar, there will be a little bit of lag. I beg your patience in these inconvenience. Let me just now go back to your presentation. Yeah. Right. So we said compliance to a documentation is mandatory, and as a part of that, the pain point in documentation is now reduced through use of these tools. Okay, then let me just take. I've just put up all the necessary documentations into one place. The another documentation tool that Quality Directorate has released is this is one documentation tool that's given by since last 2 years. This is available to us. This is on partners, on who is going to attend MOC, other matters, communication with those charged, audit opinion, list of templates, compliance to standards, etc. All these things are there. So having touched upon the documentation, I'll just touch upon the statements that we make on audit, that we make on the main audit report. Let me just touch upon. On the main audit report, we say we have conducted our audit in accordance with standards on SA. We make this statement. And as we have made this statement, and I'm also demonstrating the compliance of all these standards. Now, whatever we have now seen that responding to the auditors, responding to the bank appointment letter, then corresponding with the previous auditor, SQC and SA 210, SA 220, 230, all that we are talking now, we are saying I am complying with that. Okay. In addition to that, I also say somewhere in the audit report that I have collected all the informations and explanations. Yeah. I have obtained all the informations and explanations is what I'm saying. So for this compliance, the documentation for this compliance is what are all the information that I have to seek from them so that I can express an opinion. All those information, I have to put it in the audit engagement letter, which just now we have seen, I've used Gemini to automate. I can also use the same Gemini. I can put this content. I can put the content of audit engagement letter in Google Drive, and I can link that as a part of the audit engagement letter. Now, I'm saying that I'm asking for information. I'm asking this information. I have obtained all the information. To obtain all this information, I have to put a request, and that request is audit engagement letter. In that audit engagement letter, I'm saying I need 95 pieces of information. Without this 95 pieces of information, I cannot carry out the audit, because this 95 pieces of information is required to express an opinion either in LFAR or on IFC or on SA 700 or whatever. Okay, now how do I link this information? Why am I asking all those information? Whether that information is provided to me, and if provided, what is the procedures I have to carry out? And what are the observations out of that procedures is what we need to have a control sheet. We need to have an audit control sheet. This audit control sheet also, you can place it in the Google Drive, and through Gemini, you can try to access this. We are not demonstrating that because of the paucity of time. Now you can explore all those ideas into this. Now, why am I asking all the 95 pieces of information? The pieces of information we have here, and all these 95 pieces of information, why I am asking? For reporting under LFAR 7A, concurrent audit reports and all, I am asking. Now, we are talking about planning, audit planning. Now, I'm saying here, to whom should I allocate this? How many members are there in the team? To whom am I allocating? Now, whether I have got all the information, only few. Now, what are the observations on this? I'm making a note here. Whether this observation is serious one, whether bank has replied to it. Now, whether these observations has any significant impact. Now we have a drop down in it. I've just noted down various things. Now, other thing, next coming here, to what point of LFAR I am going to link this? LFAR has so many points. I need to link each of the observations, significant one, to the LFAR so that my LFAR reporting becomes easier. Now, what is the annexure I have? Whether this observation results in any MOC, or should I report in LFAR, or should I report in Ghosh and Jilani committee? Now, by tracking all the information wise, my observations linking to various reporting places, which is placed in the Google Drive, using again Gemini, I can automate. Once the work is over, I can simply automate all the observations into respective LFAR without much struggle in drafting the LFAR. I hope the viewers agree with me. The LFAR work is taken up at the last moment, and that will be on the web. LFAR is web-based tool given by the banker. Now, I don't have a predefined, if I don't have a well-drafted LFAR in place, I'll have a lot of pressure in the last moment. So to avoid that, once I collect the informations into this, using Gemini or using Claude or whatever it is, wherein the data is already placed in the Google Drive, and then you can automate it in such a way that the LFAR reporting becomes easier. Not only that, wherever you have to give an MOC or give a qualified or disclaimers in the main audit report as per SA 700 series, this reporting structure will be useful for us, and this is one of the pain reliever for us in terms of not only bank audit. In any audit, we need to have this kind of initiative. Okay, so this is about the documentation, and this is about how we can use a tool to reduce the pain points. Now coming back to the presentation again, I'm saying here there are divergence in NPA observed by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, you know very well, the RBI, the same RBI has issued a circular in 2021, I think more precisely in 2020 September, during the COVID time, making it mandatory for the banks to make NPAs automated. What is automated? What is automated is not defined in the RBI circular. Okay. So you know very well, the income is not defined, service is not defined. In the similar form, the most crucial word, which is called as automated, is not defined by the RBI, and which is a challenge for the auditors. Okay. What is the challenge? What is the challenge? Let us go back to what central statutory auditors are saying on SBI, which is a leading, which is available on the public domain. I'm just taking the name because this is available on the public domain, nothing against the bank. I'm saying the central statutory auditors in a key audit matter, they are saying here identification and performing of non-performing advances involves establishment, no issue. Bank accounts are all in the CBS, no issue. They say it identifies whether advances are performing or non-performing, no issue here. Now come back. When CBS is capable of, as stated by the auditors, it can identify the performing and non-performing, but they are not taking the CBS into account for the purpose of NPA automation, as said by the RBI. They have taken another automation rule, and this automation word is not defined. It is an advantage to the bankers and a challenge to the chartered accountants, auditors. Now, NPA classification and calculation of provisions is done in another IT system called as CCDP application and other processes. And what is this other processes? Is it Excel? Is what the bankers and the auditors should know. If it is Excel, is it also an automation? This word is not defined, be that as it is. So what the central statutory auditors are saying is carrying amount of these advances, net of provision, may be materially misstated. May be materially misstated. They are not saying it is materially misstated. So what are the procedures? This is a risk. What are the procedures they have carried out? Let us look into the procedures what they have carried out. They have relied on the IT system audit. They say we have relied on this they have relied on the statutory branch auditors with whom we have made a specific communication. This is SA 600, 620, etc., etc. Now, they are relying more on the statutory branch auditors. They are relying more on the IT system audit, whereas we, the branch auditors, they don't provide us the IT controls. They don't provide us the IT system audit access. I don't have an access to the IT system audit report. And without that, I have to rely on the systems and controls. More than this is a very serious gap. This is a very serious gap, and hence I have made it here as a points to ponder here. The NPA is observed. Having said this, let's come back to the same controls here again. I'm saying central statutory auditors have identified key audit matter. They have identified, and they are saying that I'm relying on the branch auditor and relying on the IT, and whereas I don't have the IT. Having said this, let's come down now. Let's come down. The another statement that I make in the main audit report, reasonable assurance, free from material misstatement. Along with that, I'm saying I have obtained the understanding of internal controls relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures. I'm making a statement, I'm making a promise, I'm making an assurance. I'm giving an assurance that I'm having an understanding on the internal controls. Now, I have not been provided with IT audit report, whereas it is with the central statutory auditors. Central statutory auditors have never given an assurance to the branch auditor saying that you don't bother about this, nor they have said this is not your scope. It is within our scope. It is within our scope. So we need to understand, taking a clue. Okay. How do I understand? How do I understand? Now come back. During the process of audit, some of the banks, they give a circular. Some of the banks, they give a circular stating that branch management and branch auditors need to take care of these issues. Like there are 23 issues. They say, please, statutory audit, branch statutory auditors and branch management, be careful with these issues. Now let's just try to look at one item only. We don't have a luxury of time to read all the 23 items. But now you can just understand here, enter the collateral fair market value in Finacle and link them to the customer loan account without fail. You understand now? I hope the members will understand. They are saying enter the fair market value in Finacle and they are using the word without fail, meaning if I don't enter, the system will not the system will not give a prompt saying that, hey, you have not entered this. There is no validation control into this. So the value of land building obtained as collateral should be properly entered. Why are you saying should be properly entered? Meaning that the validation controls, the system validation controls, system preventive validation controls, maker and checker controls are weak with respect to this. Okay. If so, what happens? Because of this, there can be an overstatement or understatement of provisions, overstatement or understatement of assets, liabilities, income, expenditure, blah, blah, all that happen because of this. And hence, central statutory auditors, as I have demonstrated to you, they have put in the CAM as a key audit matter. Okay. Fine up to this. But how do I plan my audit procedures? How do I plan my audit procedures is the biggest task here. So what we do is, I'll just take up, these are the prompts that are very well designed before I carry out the audit. These prompts are of 63 pages. I'm just saying here, the 63-page prompts will be shared again. We have already covered this 1, 2, 3 second we have covered. Now I'm coming to the planning stage. Let me come back to the planning a little later. Having touched upon the main issue of controls, let me just come back to that controls just a moment. So why we are talking about controls is for planning. If I know my risk, if I'm doing a risk assessment, accordingly, I can design my audit procedures. And this is, manual controls. So this is the manual. These are the manual controls. As I have already demonstrated to you, these are the manual controls. Sorry. I'll select all these manual controls. I'll select all the manual controls, take it to Claude or ChatGPT or whatever. So I have given this command here, not to waste your time, because there is a lot of things to demonstrate, and so I'm not making you to wait till this generates. So as per the RBI, the manual controls consists of so and so. What would be the impact on bank branch audit for the manual controls? What are the pain points faced by the bank in trying to integrate into the CBS? And also, what are the key factors or points a bank auditor has to consider while performing the bank branch audit due to these manual controls? Give this in a tabular form. Once I give this, then it gives this. Okay, I have already copied this. Not to waste your time. I'm just taking it into this analysis here. Yeah. So this is the prompt I have given it. Anyhow, these things will be shared to you, not a botheration. Now I say collateral fair market value entering in Finacle. impact on bank branch audit, material misstatement of security, which will impact the financial statements. What are the pain points? Integration of external valuation report, maintaining up-to-date report, up-to-date valuations, tracking multiple collaterals against a single loan is a pain point to the CBS, and hence they have not automated. If this is not automated, then there is a possibility of material misstatement, and that is what very well considered by the central auditors. And the central auditors now are relying on the branch auditors. Hence, the branch auditor need to have a very detailed verification procedure. Now I say remarks. The article student or the audit assistants have to make a comment here, verification, verify if collaterals are updated. I say not carried out. Check physical securities versus the system value, wrongly entered. Confirm about the appropriate haircut applications and all so on and so. Now, if this is done, then you have a control here that they have done this work. And based on this, again, you can give it back. You can place this in the Google Drive automation again, so that this working papers is equally available to all the staff who are working on this project. And once you start writing here, the same content can be used for report writing also. So this is about planning based on the risk assessment, Now, having said this, again, I'm saying here, divergence in NPA observed by RBI and AFI. Now you have two types of loans. One is two types of loan accounts you have. One is term loan and the other one is CC account. So for term loan, I'll just cover term loan and then we'll jump to the Vijay Srinivas sir automation. In the process of term loan, I'll get the term loan statement. I'll get the term loan statement. More or less every bank, let's not quarrel on which bank is this. My bank doesn't give statement like this. Drawing power is in the last, loan amount is in the first. Let us not quarrel on to that. You can arrange it in whatever fashion it is. I'm not trying to make this as a tool where you can control A, control C, control V kind of a things. Let's not try to work on that basis. Let's try to understand the concept accordingly. You can replicate it. Okay, having said this, and this is up to this part, bank has given the data. From here, I want to work out. From here. Now, I got the sanction date and I also got the EMI date. The difference between these two is the moratorium. The loan statement date, sanction date and the EMI date is the moratorium period. Now, what can be the moratorium? Moratorium cannot be unlimited. It cannot be unlimited. There are rules where if it is housing loan, 15 months, if it is education loan, 4 years, etc., you have. So once I calculate the moratorium, how do I calculate moratorium is with this formula. The sheet will anyhow be shared with you. Let's not bother about the formulas and all at this point of time. But once calculated, I can find out the anomalies. The anomalies here is 69. Now, if the product says it is 60 months, then why system is allowing 69 months? The system should never allow it. Meaning the system doesn't have a preventive controls. Meaning the officer has a power to change it, and that power is within the powers of the bank policy. Bank policy has given an authority to the branch manager to tamper this, a valid. But Is this done one time in a year, 2 times in a year? During the loan period, whenever the account is trying to become an NPA, is he trying to use this? Is there a maximum moratorium fixed? If it is crossing the maximum moratorium, whether the system will automatically make it as an NPA, no such rules are available. No such controls are available. No such internal controls are available in the system. How do I say that there are no such controls, internal controls? Is by looking at this data, I can say by filtering on this, or using greater than number, I can greater than or equal to, say the risk is around 60 is the risk. Now you have 159, you have 72, you have 107, and so on and so on and so on. Now this itself is an indication. That I need to understand the internal controls. And this is a procedure I have adopted. What is the procedure I have adopted? The procedure that I have adopted is, I will take the loan statement, I will calculate the moratorium for each product. There is also a product. You can also find the product from the loan account statement. You can find out the product. For each of the product, you can find out what is the maximum allowed moratorium, and then accordingly you can pick this as a sample. So what am I saying here? I am saying make a risk assessment, number one. Based on the risk assessment, select. So for ease of, so as I've been talking about it, to have a track of what we are talking here, let me just put it as a point here. Risk assessment through data analysis to identify anomalies, pick samples, design procedures as per risk assessment. So this is what I have just now demonstrated. All these things automate the above. Come back. So this is what I'm able to do this. Okay, I'm doing it in Excel. Sir will demonstrate in a much easier automation way. Now, coming back here. Now here, what is the number of EMIs I have completed as on date? This is the formula. M3 is the date of loan and date as on the date of audit. As on the date of audit, number of EMIs. Now, once I have EMIs, I can calculate the total amount of interest that has to be paid today with this formula. Total amount of principal has to be paid as on the date of audit. So total collection that should have been as on the date of audit. Now, what is the balance? What is the actual amount today? What is the actual amount today outstanding? I can calculate theoretically how much should be the balance and what is the what is the actual balance. The difference between the actual balance and the difference between the theoretical balance is, here in this case it is negative, meaning he has overpaid. If he has overpaid, it is not irregular. If it is regular like here, I will multiply, I will divide that by the EMIs, and if such, on that division, you can just see here again the formula for this, and if this is divided by EMI and if it is greater than 3, yes, I need to take this as a sample. Let me just see greater than. greater than 2, I will take it as a risk. Now, these are all the cases where it is greater than. So these are all high risk. And remember, this is what I am trying to say here. Now I am designing the audit procedures. I've designed an audit procedure, designed a procedure for risk assessment and validation. And validation of samples. Both the procedures I have to design. Why I have to design both the procedures is the documentation, the audit documentation is clearly saying here the evidence of auditors basis for conclusion. Evidence for audit planned and performed. This is a highly painful job for an auditor. Now we are using automation to reduce this pain here, saying the record of audit procedures performed, relevant audit evidence obtained, conclusions drawn are all automated one-to-one. Okay. Now I have demonstrated in the Excel. And this Excel itself is becoming a pain. The Excel itself is becoming a pain. That is where I request Vijay sir to give a pain relief here. I just stop sharing here.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Of course, we need Excel also. It's not that we need to totally depend on automation for one reason. I'll of course, while demonstrating, I'll also speak more about it. Let me just share the screen and then we'll proceed with. Okay. Don't mind when I try to demonstrate. Obviously, I need to focus on a couple of important aspects also, because not just the magic what we are looking for here, as Premna sir was also mentioning, it's not the fish. We need to train you about, or probably share the knowledge what we have in terms of the way you do your own fishing kind of thing. So obviously, the kind of tools what we have developed or what we have been using by virtue of past audits what we have done. Like say, for example, if this year you are going to continue with the same bank empanelment, obviously you have the comfort of the previous year data. The last year data already is with you. So you can probably use the data to test in what ways you can analyze the data in using various tools. So you don't need to have any live data because it's almost all the same format what you're going to get. So those are the few things what you can make do. And before I proceed with the presentation, yeah, I do know that you're waiting to see more of demonstration kind of thing. What I'll do is I'll show you a couple of demonstration, then we'll come back to the explanation part. And while doing so, later on, I'll again slowly try to demonstrate what we are trying to.
Sir, kindly zoom it, sir. Kindly zoom your content.
Yeah, this is a slide. What I thought is I'll first demonstrate the tool, then I'll explain. Just 1 second. Let me. Yeah. See, many a times we get this question saying that the bankers are not sharing, not sharing the data. Basically, it's not about providing the data. If you say that they are not providing the data, and then definitely it's worrisome on what basis you are doing your audit. So it's not that they are not providing the data; they are not sharing the data in through some media or some mode wherein they are probably they might show a clause of confidentiality, though you have signed non-disclosure agreement and all, but still, as we say, it's an art where you can get the data for the sake of analysis. Okay. So if in case they are not sharing the data and they are saying that you want to use, you're permitted to use the bank system itself. You are permitted to use the bank manager's system. It might be having Office 2013-16, okay, but it has some Excel. So that is where you need to have little bit idea about the Excel, because you may not be permitted to use your laptop or your system in the bank audit. And the comfort what they give is they want you to use their own system. Of course, now that many banks, they've already adopted the latest version of Excel, so you shouldn't be bothering. But that makes an important point that we need to have a little bit of awareness about Excel usage also, considering these scenarios. So what is that I can do is, if me or any of my team, because team composition is one of the important things. It's not that you go alone and perform the audit. Okay, so it has to be a team composition where one is good with analytics by using Excel. those who have undergone advanced ITT, ITT. And the other person should be having an experience of reviewing the documents. Though might be someone who is being a review partner kind of thing, who can actually go through the documentation kind of thing. And ultimately you, who can you probably collect all this information. So if in case banker has provided the system and you've used his own system, his own Excel, wherein you are analyzing the data and you got certain key performances or kind of pivot or whatever it may be. So there also, what you can do, you can just take the screenshot of that analysis, because here, when you take a screenshot, you're not copying any of the client data, nor any account number or nor any account name and all. It's only the summary, which shows, like say, for example, SMA 0, 1, 2, 3, what are the total of that? In case of NPA, what is the total of that? In terms of the various stratification, what is that? So you're not actually going into the line items. It's only a complete summary of the data, which obviously I don't think any banker should object, because just a data summary, you're not touching upon any of the issues which speaks about confidentiality. But what that small screenshot helps you do is, you can just share the particular screenshot of the summary with any of the GPTs, maybe Chat GPT or Claude or any of those, Gemini. Of course, we have started already using Gemini. Let me just copy this prompt. Okay. And I'll just mention for illustrative purposes, because I am not sharing any of the information or summary. Please provide your insights on this below requirement, assuming I have shared certain data which is summarized based on bank branch audit. Okay, I'm just giving this task because, as I said, I'm not sharing any live data, but let's see what kind of output, what we can expect if in case I'm trying to do this prompt. Okay, by using this prompt, yeah, a few things you need to understand, that you need to be very clear about the way you take your screenshot. If in case you are having a pivot table, you need to ensure that you include your row headers and the column headers and the entire data. And you have to mention what is that screenshot is meant for. You need to be a little more clear in terms of providing what kind of information you are sharing and all that stuff. But with that particular prompt, let's see what our Gemini speaks about. So assuming an illustrative kind of thing, assuming that it has tried to analyze the loan repayment trends, which says consistency in terms of repayment or whatever, loan renewals, interest rate application, documentation deficiencies, because when we when we speak about documentation deficiencies, say for example, in a summary, there are a couple of codes which speaks about whether the insurance has been updated or not. A 1 or 0 or 2, each code represents some or other activity, whether because they don't feed in the system CBS saying, yeah, insurance updated and all. They follow a coding system where you get in your annual closing report where all these codes will be captured. So I share those couple of codes along with the summary. It is going to, again, as you can see, quick mortality. These are the things what your Gemini, which you already started with the communication, where it is also comparing with the EWS. It is also providing the detailed file review. So a simple demonstration itself, if it can give such kind of detail, assuming you have shared a screenshot of the summary of the pivot table, what kind of insights it will give? Okay, because why we are doing this is not that I can't perform an audit without the help of this. It's only that the given time and given the limitation of the resources, what I have in my hand. Okay, and considering all those what you call limitations, I'm making best use of this technology so that I can complete my task in a time, in a much effortless manner, and of course with a lot of efficiency, because I'm getting a quality insights into the way what I have to perform. Okay, so this is one. And you might say, sir, they are not even permitting me to take a screenshot also. What is that I have to do? I mean, I know that it's a summary, it doesn't have any customer information, but still they are not permitting. Yes, there is a way out for that also. What you can do? They are not providing a screenshot. They are not providing the data they are not sharing the data. Okay. And still, obviously you have your notes. You have reviewed a couple of accounts and you made a notes. What are the notes? Obviously, you have, out of a sample, what you have picked up, the 10% above. Anyway, you have to cover your 100%. Okay, 10% of the advances are 10 crores. Anyway, you have to do your 100%. So whatever observations you have made, mark it on a piece of paper, maybe on a Word or a notepad, whatever it may be. Capture the information. What are the information required? Of course, I'll be sharing this file as well along with the other files with the DAB. So loan account data points to be captured for analysis. Loan account details, interest repayment. What is that? What was the rate when it was sanctioned? What was when was the frequency the rate changing? What was the EMIs established at the time of sanction and later on? And are there any delayed in payments? Then you have what kind of classification it is falling into, whether it is into SME 01, everything. These are the things obviously you'll be capturing in your notes anyway, even if they are permitting in their own system, or even if they don't provide a system, somewhere you have to capture this as part of your audit procedure anyway. That particular important points what you have captured, as I said, these are the small things, are very few points which will worth to perform the entire analysis of that particular account. Okay. Then again, earlier we spoke about data points for analysis. Then with regard to the advances related documents, okay, sanction documents and stock statement and all, they are provided. If they are not provided, okay, when was the charge created? Then you have system with regard to the CBS system. What is that captured in the account system? Whether what is the status of account? Because obviously you might of course get the report, but otherwise also if in case you are not getting a couple of reports, say for example, when you generate a EMI report, you may not get certain information about the period. So you might have EMI, you might have the loan sanction date, or you might have other aspects, maybe the number of EMIs, what it is due, or what is the entire loan is sanctioned for, may not be available. You'll have ARAC new and old. Okay, so but couple of things might not be there. So in that case, you obviously have to go to the CBS system to check that particular field. On the sample data, you are going to the system, capturing that, making a note, and that's the notes what you're capturing over here. Once you capture these pain points, you just put a prompt. The notes, obviously, they can't say no. You are doing it at the bank or at your office. Either way, you just need, you're capturing your notes. With the notes, what you're captured in whatever scribbled way, even if you're putting in a small short language, shortcut kind of language also, AI is capable of capturing, understanding that. Then you put a prompt. What is that prompt? I have manually noted the key observation from the bank system. The notes includes so and so, so and so. Based on this, please analyze and identify the patterns, anomalies, EWS related, any compliance related issues, what has to be reported in LFAR, and highlight any areas which requires further scrutiny, because I've captured certain notes which might be missing some things which I have to review. That also I'm taking the help of the smart assistant. Okay, then I'm saying further scrutiny, provide insights to that. What you can expect out of it? I mean, I've tested this. That's the reason confidently I'm sharing. What output you can expect out of this prompt along with the notes, what you share is, it will identify the incorrectly applied rates, because as I said, the notes speaks over about it. Frequent rollovers, detecting if in case you have mentioned that stock statement is missing and what is the impact of that on the EWS. Then also the compliance and documents, what are the things I have to verify. And previously, I mean, any kind of provisioning, what has to be captured, and the summary which will go into your LFAR. Okay, so the notes part itself, obviously no one can stop you. They don't provide, they don't share the data, they don't share the system, but obviously they can't stop you to make a note, because that is part of our audit procedure. That notes, if you are using taking the help of Gemini or any AI, that will give a lot of insights into that. While you are at the branch itself, you will not miss out those, because one of the important aspects you need to remember is, when it comes to peer review, once you sign the audit report, once you walk out of the branch, no way that he is going to support if in case any document is missed out. Okay, so it's going to be very tough time, because the sample of this year is going to come, because the mandatory provisions are getting attracted from the next year. So this is going to be your peer review period anyway. So if you miss out any of the documentation, it's going to be very tough time. So this is where I'm using this artificial intelligence or the intelligent assistant, wherein it will summarize my notes, identify the areas what I might have missed out, what is the way I can connect with the respective LFAR provisions, or what are the ways which otherwise have been mentioned as a manual conduct control. Okay, then this I thought I'll share, because many a times while listening sessions also, people at the back of the mind, they say that, okay, data is not being shared. Yes, doesn't matter even if it is not shared. This year, you can still make it happen by virtue of using the anomalies or patterns what you have identified through your notes with the help of AI. Okay, and proceeding further, without much delay, let me just demonstrate few tools which, of course, under guidance, our students have developed this tool. Yes, you have heard, right? It's our article students. We have developed this particular tool. Let me demonstrate and then probably you will appraise what they have done. So here, many a times when we receive certain files, most of the time, if you are asking for the information, you'll be provided the data which is there on the 31st of December. Okay, but obvious reasons we'll ask them to provide the multiple files for monthly reports or whatever, or quarterly reports, whatever, because I may not concentrate more only on the closing reports, because I need to understand the interest spread. I need to understand the movement of accounts. Sometimes it is walking, going from SMA 1 to 0 or 0 to 3 or something like that. I need to understand the movement of each of the accounts and also the overdues or whatever it may be. So for that reason, I may not depend only on the closing reports. I might request multiple reports, might be quarterly or monthly, whatever it may be. Okay. Then once I receive, the challenge what we face is obviously to get that particular report in proper Excel format. Some Excel might do it easily, but considering that there are a good number of people who might be little not so comfortable when it comes to Excel, because technology term itself, if we make them feel so scared, they don't want to give a try also. Okay, but if in such kind of scenario, what are the ways? And just to tell you before I demonstrate the background of this was done by our article one, Mr. Akil, and of course his friends. So what they have done is we have given the data of the last year, okay, and make them sit. We have trained them on the way they can use AI. And when I say AI, it's of course the chat GPT, which is free version, not even paid version. Okay. And we have given a task saying that, no, these are the text files what we have received in the last year. One person will open the particular Excel file. So for example, this text file, one person job is to rename the personal data. Like say person name is there, you rename A, you replace the A with Z or B with C, whatever it may be. You keep a note, what are the words you are replacing, what are the alphabets you are replacing, so that once you get back the file, you go back to the same, replacing back to the old terms. Okay. So give this Excel text file to him and asking him to provide a task saying that, okay, this challenge is there are multiple such files. I need to consolidate into a single Excel. First task, wherein I don't want to probably do any kind of additional efforts. It's a click of a button, whatever. First task. Second task, okay, he has done maybe within few hours kind of. Second task, once you have consolidated, obviously I need to have insights into the data. There again, I have to go for pivot, I have to go for VLOOKUP or all that stuff. There also, I might not be comfortable. So I said, okay, why not come up with some kind of analysis on the data available in that particular multiple text files, considering the movement of all those, with a minimal analysis saying that how many NPAs have been there, or what is the percentage of the entire NPA, how many related party transactions, how many multiple exposures the particular account is having. Okay, then obviously he's taken up the challenge and he has done this. So over a period of, I think, hardly 2-3 days, the kind of tool what he has demonstrated, which of course we are going to share with the tab, which will be placed in the website for your download. And kindly please note that this is working on this file. Okay, it might work, may not work, because I'm not going to disclose which bank this CCOD file will relate to, but you can give a try. I'll also show if in case it's not working, what are the small things you might be doing to debug that kind of thing. Okay, let's start with demonstration. I believe the screen is visible. Okay, so here I'm mentioning XYZ code. This is a logo what you can place. If in case you are wondering how to replace it, you have this logo in the same folder, the zip file what we are going to share. You replace with your found name. Okay, then obviously that's the title what you are going to get. Then it says comprehensive tool which processes analyzing CCOD and term loans along with documenting observations. That's the most thing. What this tool does is, first thing, it will consolidate multiple CCOD files, all the 12 files into one single file, and it will analyze and provides us a visualization, and also supports us in terms of documentation, in terms of audit memos. Wherever there is an issue, obviously we have to communicate through audit memorandum. So that memorandum will be prepared by this tool so that you can review and modify wherever is required. It will also help you provide a checklist. If in a particular area of an NPA, I want to perform a review, it generates a checklist which you can hand it over to your assistant and he can perform review of based on the checklist. And document which I can support as part of my LFAR. Then you have term loan analysis tool also. So let's start with the CCOD. So as I said, I placed these files one after another for all the 13 months. Why 13 months? 12 months of the current year, and also 1 month of the March, obviously the closing of the last year. I'll click on this. Then you have the screen, comprehensive tool and all that stuff. As you can see, there is a process log, which is creating at what time the process has started, and the results will be captured over here. Let's click on the browse. And yeah, as you can see, this is the presentation date today. Nothing like I'm doing anything new. It's within the same folder which I'm demonstrating. I'm selecting Control A, all the files. And as you can see, it has displayed all the same 13 files what we have in the folder. Nothing new. Then still, it comes with the process log saying selected 13 files. Now let's click on the process files. Processing, 100% done. What is that it created? It created a log of what actually it has done. It has files loaded, found empty, non-empty cell lines and all that stuff. And it has consolidated all the records which are around 1601. It is showing a preview. What is the preview? If you go back to the file, the text file, what I've shown you, you have a customer number, account type. The last one is adjustment. The same thing has been captured over here. Account type, customer name, interest rate, and the last column is adjustments. So that means it has consolidated all the 13 files at one go. Now we have the preview. It is also giving the reference from where it has consolidated. What is the file it has considered for consolidated? Now just click on download Excel. Once you click on download Excel, few seconds, you got this file. Let me click it open. Okay, so it has consolidated. Let me enable editing. Let me just expand the columns so that I can see the entire face of the file. So 1601 records, and you have the customer name, you have the account number, and account type, customer name, interest limit, drawing power, so and so, so and so, so and so. All that within few seconds. Okay, so the first task, I'll just save it. Let me just save it in downloads. The first task is done because consolidation. Now, if in case, this is one of the area where initially, I think 2 to 3 days more, it might take at one particular branch, wherein you are sampling, let's say 30 files, 30 customer files, 30 into the respective files. If in case you are doing consolidating using Excel, the kind of time what it might take. Okay. Yes, first part done, we have a consolidated file. What next? Now that I have the Excel file, what kind of analysis I can make of? So before I go there, let me also show you the code with regard to the respective, so that you can also feel what exactly we have done. And I'll also share how he has done it. I'll probably share how he has done it. HTML, you can open in Notepad also. It's not that you can't open in Notepad. You can open in Notepad also. But having in Notepad++, the comfort is you will get the line-wise items. So I can just even open in the Notepad also just to view the code. But what comfort I get in Notepad++ is I'll have a line reference number. So that means, assuming that you have some other file which is not in the same format. If I go down, okay, it speaks about the process CCOD files. This is the HTML. Okay, that's the file which is there, process CCOD file. What this process CCOD file, if you go back again, let me just open this also in Notepad. Because kindly understand that we are not getting into coding. Okay, or let me put it in a much simpler way. Maybe I love to speak this particular reference. Assuming that you are having a client in some other place. Let's say you have a client in what you call Kerala, and you are from Mumbai. Assuming that the client accountant doesn't know Hindi or English, nor you know Malayalam. So how is the way you communicate? You have someone who translates what you are saying to him, and he in turn will translate what the other person is telling to you. Is it not? So communication is, I mean, you are only worried about whether the communication what you told to this translator is actually passed on to that person, Similarly, whatever he said has been translated to you. As simple as such. So for me, if I'm speaking about HTML, Python, Java, all this stuff, thanks to the AI or the ChatGPTs or Gemini, I don't need to learn. If I want to communicate with HTML, I take the translator called ChatGPT. I say, this is what my requirement is. Can you please translate in a way HTML understands? It will give. Let the HTML run. If it is giving an output as per my convenience, I'm happy. If not, I'll say I couldn't understand what it is saying. This is what my requirement is. I again keep communicating till my output is reached. That's what we call iteration in prompt. So I keep on communicating with that particular GPT till my output is reached so that I can conveniently communicate with HTML, Python. I don't need to worry about learning HTML. I don't need to learn Malayalam if I have to have a client in Kerala. I need to have a translator. Similarly here, a chat GPT or a Gemini or a Claude, whatever it may be, it's a translator for me. I don't need to learn. I'll take the help of translator to translate whatever I want. I get the output. I'm happy. Is it not? So that is where I'm trying to demonstrate here. If in case still you are having certain issues, maybe what kind of definition it has given. As you can see here, it has mentioned the column position 0 to 18. You have a customer ID. As you can see here also, customer number 18 to 38, account number 38 to 68, account type. If in case, if it is not matching, maybe one word is going to the next column, what you need to do? Just modify the number. Instead of 94, you put 95 so that the alphabet falls into this column. This can be pretty much done. If not by you, maybe your article student. Doesn't require any kind of knowledge as well. Is it not? So this is where just whenever you're coming across these kind of, just open and see if you can do anything at your level. You don't need to worry saying, okay, this is not my subject. Because these are all plain English numbers, what we are seeing here. Okay. So coming back, once we have done, so I was also saying this, if in case you are finding an issue with regard to this HTML, say for example, it's not working, what you do? Share this entire HTML with the respective ChatGPT or Claude and share your information, that is your CCOD file. This is my CCOD file and this is the code what I have. Unfortunately, this is not running. Can you please do the debugging for me? It will do for you. You don't need to learn, is it not? Because you have the master architecture with you. This HTML has the entire content what is required. It's just here and there tweaking, which you can do using ChatGPT. Sounds good? Yeah. Let's proceed with, let's see, once we have done the processing, let's see what kind of analytics we can. Just click on the open analytics. We have combined all the CCOD files. If you remember, I'll pick up that consolidated file. So I'll go to the downloads. That's where we have, let me just click on downloads. And this is what 629 we have consolidated. Let me select it and say open. So it says picked up the file. Now let's analyze. How much time it took? Few seconds, but what wonders it has done is, it has created a filter. You want the entire accounts related analysis, you select all account types. You want all types of IRAC status, that's the default, what it comes. Okay, so what kind of overview we get? We get outstanding balance by account type of top 10 accounting outstanding balances. Okay, this CKCC and CKGC, it's around 45 crores. Cent mortgage, CC general, whatever it is. Then you have IRAC classification summary. How many are standard? It gives a complete profile of your branch. SMA 0, it's almost like 11.12%. Or doubtful, profile is around 5.5%. Others, of course, 9.39%. But this gives a profile about what procedure you should be adopting to continue with this one. Probably the make best out of this few days what we have. Then you have a summary as well. What it says, total number of accounts, total outstanding, what is the sanction limit? As you can see, the outstanding is exceeding the sanction limit in a couple of overall utilization, 21.25% excess utilized by a couple of clients. And the NPA accounts, NPA outstanding, ratio, irregular accounts, because obviously it has all the codes, SMA 01. It's a secondary that whether it has been captured properly or not in the system, that is where you do a review of system. But considering the information what they have said, you are doing the entire analytics. Okay, so accounts with expired limits, 53 accounts. Now, this entire information, whatever is given, is not just a chart. It also provides in the form of the reports as well. Okay, so you have NPA overview report. That's what we have seen here with regard to the NPA. I want to get the details of this report. I just go and click the reports part. I'll click on this report generator, and again NPA overview. Just click that, file gets downloaded, NPA overview, open the file. Let me just enable the edit and expand the columns so that I can have the better visibility. Now, these, if you remember, these are the summary what it has provided. For each account type, it has classified the NPA percentage and also summary. Over and above that, you have a breakup of all that what it has captured. That means you are having an evidence which are forming part of that. Okay, more or less, it's like you can just carry on the documentation review or otherwise of these sample accounts, which are falling into that particular summary. Not just NPA. You might say other, I'm not just only worried about NPA. I have some other things to do. Yes, utilization, how many accounts are utilizing. Click on that. You have a report, LFAR workbook. What LFAR workbook has. Let's see what kind of analysis this file has done. Let me again enable and expand the column. So it has, with regard to accounts with expired limits, and you have a working for that particular expired limits, which justifies the particular summary. Then you have sanction amount related average utilization exceeding limits. What are the accounts which has exceeded limit? Okay, wherein you can see that it has captured the IRAC status as per the CCOD file. Then you also have the NPA accounts, which already we have generated. So a summary along with the respective annexures, which forms part of your summary. Now, likewise, irregular memo, custom report, and all that stuff. So you have overview of the entire, then you have what kind of accounts I'm dealing with in the given branch, what are the top outstanding balances, which are the schemes, and interest rate in terms of which is what is the highest rate and what is the lowest rate in the given profile. Then also you have IRAC analysis with regard to NPA. It says Cent Mortgage has more NPA outstanding in the given profile. So you can also have this as MSME. The entire segment of MSME is an NPA. Okay, as you can see, this particular image highlights that this entire segment has turned out to be NPA. What is the major portion which is serving or not serving? I have an analysis. Then you have a summary of the top 10 critical NPA accounts. Apart from that, yes, we have few more irregularities related. What are the accounts which has exceeded the limit of sanction? Limit utilization, of course, obviously all will be utilizing in the one particular account which has actually exceeded by more than 100%. That means they have overdrawn over and above the limit what they have been sanctioned for. And ultimately, this particular part we have already seen in terms of documentation and all. This is not it. You might say, fine, all that analysis and all, it's good. But you are also referring about documentation. How about it? Yes, we have a solution for that. You have the CCOD documentation too. Click on the open document, select the same combined file, what we have downloaded, where we are concerned, because we are doing this all analysis on the documents provided, information provided by the branch. Provide the branch name, which you are performing an audit, provide the financial year. Okay, then just load. What it has done, it has generated the documentation. What can, I mean, one caution, please exercise is, whatever it is generating, someone has to review, because you can't just generate and sign it blindly and hand it over. Because if I'm clicking on irregularity memo, because obviously one of the things what we need to raise is audit memo. Based on the analysis what I've identified, I want an explanation. I will not ask orally the explanation to the branch manager. Rather, I'll communicate through memorandum so that they'll respond. Okay. So here, it gives a preview. As I said, no, this is the disclaimer what we can have, and the date of the memo, that is today, and the branch, and what it speaks about. Accounts with outstanding balance exceeding sanction limits. We observed that 38 accounts were outstanding balance exceeding the sanction with excess drawing of 3.27 crores. It has given the top accounts with expired limits, accounts with irregularities, and of course, recommendation part, as I said, this will not be there in our statute audit, But of course, being a standard documentation, it has provided the recommendation also. And I can just download this document so that I'll get that particular memo and I can issue that particular memo while signing. And this is where probably, I have to be cautious about reviewing the document and ensuring that the content provided is proper. Okay, this is where someone has to involve to review the document before they blindly use it. Okay. Fine. So this is about the particular. Again, the summary, it speaks about those accounts, expired limit. It has provided the annexure. It speaks about irregularities. It has provided the accounts. And it speaks about other expired limits. It is also provided those summary. A memo along with the respective annexures. Okay. So likewise, if I keep on going, if I keep on demonstrating, you have, let's see what kind of documentation. NPA classification memo. Click on that. It will have a summary and a memorandum wherein I just need to review that and probably wherever required modify and just download and sign and give it. Limit utilization memo, documentation deficiency memo. This is where probably you have to review because this is captured based on the codes what they have given in the system. So maybe you have to review manually the documentation provided. And checklist. This is where I said having a review at the branch, one of the key aspects is in your team composition, what kind of review he has to perform, because everything you can't take on your head just because you're expert in bank audit, everything you can't take considering the time limits. So what is that? You generate a checklist. Okay, entrust to this to your assistant saying, this is a checklist drafted based on this thing, evaluate, get it verified, evaluate and identify if everything is fine. Okay, so I'm creating a checklist based on the information available in the CCOD. Wherever there is a blank, it has captured as available, not available. Wherever the reporting SMEs have been, of course, if I'm capturing a 0, 1, 2 in the SME 0, yes, the guidelines have been followed. So everything captured in this particular checklist. NPA verification checklist. Again, what are the things you have to verify with regard to those NPAs? Okay, whether all the accounts meeting criteria and kind of thing. And the provisioning checklist, documentation checklist. And finally, you have LFA working papers. LFA working papers, which goes into your annexures, because you would have prepared in Word or Excel earlier, where you are trying to summarize that particular information which are forming part of your LFAR. Now here I have that particular working paper and also I have a LFAR as it is, which has been generated as per the format, what we have, the revised format. Okay, so on the advances section, obviously we are speaking about CCOD, so it will be falling into the advances section and it has generated the respective clause-wise LFAR so that I can just review, identify what has to be modified. Okay, it has given a summary, stock statement, expired insurance. Of course, as I said, this is a draft wherein you need to modify and probably make use of it. Then of course a comprehensive audit summary which compiles all the particular information what we have done through various documents and finally giving the entire executive summary. Okay, so this particular tool where not only the CCOD, we also have a term loan processing. And this is where Prima sir was referring. He has demonstrated through Excel. What if I don't know the formulas of Excel? Let me show you the raw file. Then we'll proceed with the, okay, so this is the raw file wherein you are provided with the term loan. This again, I've skipped upon consolidating the text files into Excel files. So I've straight away jumped into the Excel file which has been compiled. Okay, as you can see, up to outstanding balance. What is that you have? You have a customer ID, name, loan amount, the same Excel sheet what Premna sir demonstrated. So what task he has given to our article student Akhil is, he has shared this and asked you to identify a way he can automate and perform an analysis on this particular file. And what he has done is, he has created this particular button wherein I'll select the term loan analysis. So it is also defining what are the steps it follows. Prepare an Excel, set the audit date, choose so-and-so and process and provides the download. Let's choose the file. Let me choose the term loan file. Again, in the same folder, I'm not selecting anything outside live demonstration itself. So as you can see, files uploaded, click process data. Let's click and see what we get. As you remember, it's up to outstanding what we had up to this column. Now what it has added is, it has added moratorium. Okay, quick moratorium. This is where you filter, and wherever it is less than 12 or equal to 12, you will be reporting as quick moratorium. Number of EMIs as on audit date. Okay, usually we use date diff. We use various formulas to calculate the number of EMIs and find out the difference and compare with the new ARAC. It has given interest cumulative as on audit date, principal cumulative. You use CUM, PRINC, CUM, IPMT, all these formulas which are out of my mind. I don't want to use that. Yes, you have this tool which can help you out in that. Total payables, total theoretical balance as per the EMI, and more importantly, theoretical balance as per our audit. And that is where if you compare, you might come across certain differences. And also it has added the relevant audit observations as per the information what we have, and also a column. Now, let's download and see what we have in the file. If you remember, or even otherwise, if you are watching YouTube video, just rewind the video, go back to the Excel presentation, what Prerna sir has done in terms of the formula, what he has demonstrated, and that particular formula will be pretty much there in the given column. As you can see on the formula bar, hope you are able to see. Let me, even if I zoom it, it will be only the screen, not the formula. But still, let me give it a try. Okay, so as you can see, it has calculated the formula. All that what Premna sir has demonstrated in terms of formula, it has created along with the formula. It's not that blindly you have to trust it. Okay, it has created CUMI PMT. It has created whether it is regular or irregular. It has also created cumulative principal and quick moratorium. Okay, if you remember data diff I was mentioning about, it has written the formula on your behalf. You don't need to worry about anymore about data diff. Okay, so with the click of a button, it is doing the entire analysis, also throwing you the insights and also the kind of multiple loan accounts what a customer has. It is giving a loan count also. Okay, so the same file what Prerna sir has demonstrated using Excel, we could come up with a solution by simple click of a button. And you were still worried about what kind of coding they would have done and all that. Yes, you have this file anyway with you. You can just use it to open the same file. Let me just move the screen. So you can pretty much open with Notepad++ to see how the processing is done. You can just have a glance. What are the, of course, forget about the formatting and all, but what the issues, what it the way it has identified the steps. You want to add your own lines, you can do that, pretty much editable. And as you can see, it has identified, and ultimately it has put certain formulas of calculation. If so and so, then what? Okay, so all that Excel formulas have been captured over here. New date, Excel date minus, of course, the current date. Okay, so everything it's in transparent mode. Okay, but what best it has done is I don't need to bother anymore about learning how to do that. A click of a button, just select the term loan file and run the analysis tool. It will do the rest of that for you. Okay, so as I was saying, anytime you have an issue, you can share the HTML file with the GPT and put a prompt asking you to identify a solution as per your format. Pretty much going to do. You have to be patient enough. You're more patient, you more understand how narrowly your prompt will be, best utility you can make out of. Okay, let me stop my presentation here before we proceed. Let's move ahead to Prerna sir, then I'll come back with another demonstration. Sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, sir. Now, Vijay Srinivas sir has given a fish. So let's try to, I'll give you a net, fishing net. Ponder now. So the mantra now, before that, till now whatever we have discussed, I'm giving you a mantra. Let's follow this mantra. You can change this. So I'm saying we have started with data analysis. Why are we doing data analysis? Is for risk assessment. Now design a procedure for risk assessment. What is that procedure we have just now adopted?
Sir, share the screen.
From the data, I've tried to calculate moratorium. It is a risk. The collections, how much you should have paid, both principal and interest. I've designed a procedure with Excel. And then I've compared that with the loan outstanding. Then I've got the difference between the theoretical balance and the loan balance. That divided by the number of EMIs is a probable NPA. That is the risk assessment procedure I have designed for term loan. Similarly, for the CC account also. Now, by designing the risk assessment procedure, define and identify the anomalies. What are the anomalies? Anomalies are more than 60 for housing loan, more than 15 months for housing loan, or the anomalies for each product wise. You have a predefined moratorium. So for the predefined moratorium, you are comparing with the loan policy, and wherever it is exceeding is an anomaly. Define and identify. Now pick all those samples which are anomalies. Now, for those samples, design a procedure for validation of those samples. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. You have reminded me. Otherwise, I would have gone into the fishing pond. Yeah. Okay. So data analysis, risk assessment, design procedures for risk assessment, data analysis for the risk assessment, and design a procedure for risk assessment. What is that procedure? As I have just now stated, at the cost of repetition, I am repeating again that I am trying to find out the moratorium which is against the policy is a risk. Payments not received, but still showing it as NPA. All those things are risks. All those things are anomalies. I have defined those anomalies. Those anomalies I picked as a sample. And those samples, I am designing a procedure for verification of the samples. I have verified. After picking, validating, now I have an observation. These observations have an impact, and that has to be reported. This fourth point. Now, automate all this above to the extent possible, and that is what exactly now we have seen in HTML. I said, we have just now seen a fish. Vijay sir has given a fish. Now let's take a fishing net, go into the pond now. What I am trying to say now here is download the data as CSV file. You can make a note. Any file that you want to use, create your own HTML. Create your own HTML. Download any data you wanted to analyze, that as a CSV file. Now convert that CSV file into a JSON file. And how do I convert the CSV file into a JSON file? This is the site where you can convert that JSON file. Okay. Now generate ideas for dashboard. What is this dashboard? This dashboard is a dashboard that you have seen now on the HTML, wherein various reports have been created. Now, okay. Now copy the JSON file for one item. Okay, let me just demonstrate this. This is the CSV file. I'm not going into for the paucity of time. This is the JSON file. Let me open it. Open with Notepad. Opening the JSON file with Notepad. And this flower bracket indicates for one borrower, rather one account. And these are the columns up to this flower bracket. From here onwards, it goes into the another account, another account, another account, and so on. So what am I saying? What am I saying here? I'm saying for copy a part of the JSON file. Now we have seen 1600 line items. JSON file is CSV to JSON 1600 it has converted. Don't bother about 1600. Only bother about one part from the JSON file. Now, paste that JSON file in ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or DeepSeek, Google Studio. There are 36,000 LLMs available today on this earth. You take any one of it. What is the prompt? The prompt is, this is a structure of a simulated dummy bank loan data in JSON format. Understand the structure and suggest a maximum key data visualization matrix that can be best fit to create an interactive loan database, and also explain why we should use each one of this. I'm asking it to explain. And that is how it creates for that prompt. Let me just demonstrate. For that prompt, yeah. For that prompt, it has, this is the content it has given. It said visualization, line chart or area chart. Why we should use this? Tracking the EMI payments over a time helps identify the trend, such as consistent payments, missed payments, or irregularities. It can also highlight the impact on moratorium periods. I hope now you understand what I'm talking. I'll get back to I'm getting back to the mantra here. I'm going back to the mantra here. Data analysis. Data analysis is a pain point. Now I'm using automation. What is that automation? I have defined here. I have defined CSV into JSON. I am asking this to write a prompt. It has given a prompt. It has said what are all the points it can generate. What are all the we have just now seen various charts, bars and all. Now it has given all these, so many things it has given. Now what I do is, finally I say, okay, now create a dashboards, generate HTML code for the dashboards. Now the prompt is, now I want you to create an extensive dashboard, create performance dashboard with maximum key visualizations using HTML and JavaScript. Use the latest version of, don't bother about all this, CDN, and include an upload feature so that we can upload the JSON file. It should generate the dashboard based on the uploaded data. I need to upload the loan data from my local computer, and it should create the dashboard based on that data. Now, why are we doing this? As you know, I can straight away upload a CSV file to the LLMs that are available today and still ask, but there is a privacy issue. So what am I doing? I am using HTML so that the HTML code is within my system, and whatever I am uploading, it doesn't go out, and all that reports and everything is within myself and nothing to bother about it. This is the procedure that we have followed. It may look like very simple at this point of time. As we have already stated, it takes 2-3 days of the article students with one or two article students has to sit together, so that if when one get tired, both the two minds works together, then there are fantastic ideas to solve issues. And those who have seen the AI hackathons and all, you would have seen their explanations also. It takes few iterations for 1-2 days, no matter, still you can get these things done. Okay, this is what we have generated, and this is how you get all these reports. We said create a file for uploading, analyze, and for drop downs, and this is how all these things have been carried out. And you can find out the anomalies from all these reports. You can easily find out the anomalies, which I am not going into now, because I have already stated I'm again repeating the mantra here: data analysis for risk assessment, design procedures for risk assessment, define and identify the anomalies, pick the samples, design procedure for validation, automate the above to the extent possible. To the extent possible, we have used HTML with other LLMs. Now, all these 5 steps document very detailedly as I am writing the code here, as I am writing the steps here. This much documentation has to be done for future reference and training in the offices. So this is something, again, we are following SQC of ICAI. Okay, I leave this here. Of all these things, I'll just leave it here. Then we'll come back to our regular presentation. Now, stock is about, let's into the CC loan account workings in a very detailed manner. CC loans is another biggest nuisance. Like term loan, we have seen 2 types of loans. I am saying 2 types of loans. The loan 1 is term loan. The loan type 2 is CC loan. So we have just now gone in depth into the term loan. Now we'll move into the CC account issues. So before I go into the CC account, what are the risks in CC account? Now, what are the risks in term loan? Moratorium is a risk in the term loan. NPAs, it cannot identify. The moment I shift the NPAs, shift the moratorium. So to track that, the procedure adopted is I'm trying to validate through Excel formulas on validating the total interest as on the date, total principal as on the date, and then finding out the theoretical balance and the actual balance and all. That is a procedure we have adopted for the anomaly, to pick the anomalies. Now, what is the risk available in CC account? The biggest nuisance in the CC accounts is DP fixing, because the formulas that are used in stock statements, what is NPA? Out of order. What is out of order? Outstanding balance is greater than sanctioned limit and drawing power. It is very wide. System cannot control this. System, only DP is feeded in the system. And what is DP? What is drawing power? Drawing power is debtors plus closing stock minus creditors is the drawing power, subject to discounting the debtors, discounting the stock, and discounting the creditors. Now we have that. Now whether CBS can monitor the defects in the stock statement, you all know it can never monitor or validate the content of stock statements. The content of stock statement, the CBS can never validate. CBS can only look at the drawing power that is fed in the system. If intentionally or otherwise, the quality of stock statements are not entered into, drawing power is wrongly entered, stock statements are wrongly calculated, CBS cannot do anything. And this itself is a very big nuisance. And hence, I come back to this again, data analysis for risk assessment in CC loan. Now, what is the CC loan risk assessment? Risk assessment procedure is validate the stock statements. How do I validate the stock statements? I validate the stock statements with a template, a predefined template. Take this predefined template to the branch. Let the article students keep entering the data into these stock statements. Number one. Yes, there is a pain point of entering data into these stock statements. Pain point, yes. Reason is, some of them write lakhs, some of them write in thousands, some of them write in crores. The article student, if he is not vigilant, the total DP calculation will go for a wrong. Some of them give a return stock statements in any of the permitted regional languages in India. There are more than 11 or 12 permitted regional languages which they can communicate with the bankers. Nothing against Tamil Nadu. They say, I will write everything in Tamil. They don't want to write anything in Hindi. So it can possible in that case, if I got a branch in Tamil Nadu, then how do I read, including the numbers? We have seen the number is given in Tamil Nadu, including that. Okay. Now, in that case, the challenge is how do I feed? We can use that. That is a challenge. That is a pain point. Now, what I'm saying, automate that content to the extent possible. Take a snapshot in Gemini, ask it to convert in the language in which you want it, in the format in which you want it. The snapshots can be converted into, I'm not demonstrating those things, you can try that. Okay. Having captured all that documents, all that data into these kind of statements, debtors, creditors, and so on. Now this is raw material, stock in, finished goods, total closing stock, DP on that. And now I am calculating. Now this is what I am using Excel to validate. I am using Excel to validate. Now I am calculating the total DP, and this is my revised DP calculation, wherein you can just now see actual DP given in the stock statement is something higher, but lower than the somewhere nearing to the permitted sanction limit. But the revised stock statement, what we have calculated, the drawing power fed in the system. Now we are calculating here the revised outstanding, sanctioned, and drawing power. Is it exceeding? Using a formula here. Yes, it has exceeded. If it has exceeded continuously for 3 months, now it has become NPA here. I come back again. This is a nuisance, and this is a biggest challenge. So to rule out this challenge, to mitigate this risk, I have defined a risk assessment procedure, designed a procedure, identify the anomalies. Yes, I have identified the anomalies here. Now, furthermore, like in the term loan, the anomalies I have identified, I am going forward again in validating the debtors. I am trying to validate the moratorium. In the same way, I am trying to validate the transactions, the account statement, collections. Opening debtors, opening balance plus debtors minus sales is equal to closing debtors. That is the actual collection. So I have taken the cumulative collection based on the stock statements. Now I get actual based on the stock statement. Today in the bank statement, the collection should have been 1299, whereas the actual credits in the CC account is 785. Now, how to explain these two is anomaly. The banker may say that there may be an error, or he may say this amount is deposited in any other account, but both are violations. Okay, be that as it is. Now coming back here, now I take cost of goods manufactured, cost of goods sold, opening stock plus production minus closing stock, and taking 90% of sale. Is this 90% of sales? Is it an RBI circular or a bank policy? No. It is based on the CMA projections given by them. They will mention 10% is the gross margin and so on and so on and so on. Accordingly, I have taken what is the cost of goods sold and margin at 1%. And you can see the average margin is much lesser, and it is not even covering, and this margin is not even covering the amount of interest. This is one issue. Next, debtors in days I can find out, stock in days I can find out, creditors in days I can find out, and calculate the closing cash operating cycle. Now, once I am calculating the cash operating cycle, I will find out whether the company, the borrower is in stress. Now, how do I make all these analysis? How do I make all these analysis in, because I can make analysis, but how do I write? The language may differ. I'm not expert in English language, so I can't draft it in a way in which I can impress upon the central statutory auditor. Let's not bother about it. Simply take this statement, copy this. I have reduced this to see that it is totally capturing. I'll take a screenshot of this. I'll take a screenshot of this as I've taken here. And this screenshot, I'll give it to any GPT. I'll give it to any GPT. You can use CAGPT because it is well trained. Now I attach here. Sorry. Control C. Now I'll come back to this and then paste it here. As we have already shared, as we have already designed the prompts. The prompts are here. The prompts for the stock statement is here. Identify the, yeah, these are the prompts. Okay, you have a very detailed prompts here. Yeah. Now, I'm not giving you a fish. I said, I'm not giving you a fish. I'm giving you a net and I'm showing you a pond. Now we need to do a fishing. Now I'm saying here, how do I write a prompt? Let's not bother about how do I write a prompt. Take the help of the same GPT, take the help of the same GPT, ask it, how should I write a prompt? Now this is how I ask, I've given, this is what is my problem. Design me a prompt and give it to me. Now it has given the refined prompt, it has given a refined prompt. Let me just copy this. So I'm just using this again. So what we are saying is, I'm not expert in writing the report. So what am I doing? I'm just taking the help of, because writing a report is a pain, and I'm now automating a report. Now it has designed the words. It has designed all this. Now the biggest challenge is we have not written anywhere what are all the violations, what are all the violations of RBI Banking Regulation Act. Nowhere we have mentioned here. However, let me take you to the important point here. I'm saying whenever you write an observation, be that even a very smallest of the observation you have made it, And if you are not linking to the RBI master circular, notification, or directions, neither the banker nor the central auditor is interested in reading your observations. It is something like a GST officer is issuing a notice rejecting the ITC claim, saying that I reject ITC claim without even saying the section number of 16.3, 4, 17.5, 73, 74, etc., etc., without mentioning any section. If he is writing an order or a Stoker's notice, you don't even bother that. In the same manner, if I as a branch auditor, I am not trying to mention any of the master circulars or directions or notifications for all the deviations I am noting down. Neither the management nor the central auditor are serious about this. And hence, what do? I need to write the numbers. But how do I know the numbers? I am an expert in GST and income tax over a period of time. But this bank audit, I do as a honeymoon audit. How do someone expect me to master all the RBI rules, notifications, which keep changing every minute? So that's a very big pain point. Now, how do I remove that pain point is, I'll just add all these observations. I'm adding all the observations. Similarly, I take all these observations and then go back to Claude. Then I say here, paste this. Okay, let's not bother. Once I paste it, then after pasting it, I'll ask to classify all that observations. I'll ask the Claude to classify all the observations in terms of how, in terms of what are all the violations it has carried out. Like say, stock statements are not regularly submitted. So I've just shown you that one of the application, one of that. So it says this is the circular which it has violated. Okay. Now as per 46A1, as per 46 section of Banking Regulation Act, they may be penalized to an extent of 1 crore or twice the amount involved, whichever is higher. And this is what is today lacking. Permit me to say, the consciousness of all the auditors who are carrying out the bank audits, it is very clear to what extent they are mentioning. Their conscience is clear to what extent they quote the violations. Yeah. Having said, one of the resource in our audit team need to re-verify whether this is correct or not. Number one. So I'm saying the violation related circular related penalty, risk assessment on the financial statements. Now, do I need to give a qualified opinion, disclaimer, unqualified, blah, blah, blah? All that is clear here. Now, to this extent, our institute has given a very good guidance, has given a fantastic guidance through this audit control. Now I'm saying financial statements are materially misstated. Okay. Inability to obtain sufficient appropriate, let me just say, financial statements are materially misstated. No. Now I'm saying here, it is saying D and E. Inability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. No. Is this materially pervasive? Not pervasive, I'm saying no. When I say no, it is saying unmodified. You go ahead and give unmodified opinion. Now, we have seen now, because of that, it is materially misstated? No. Inability to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. They have not provided me any banking loan document, nothing they have provided me. I'm not able to get the evidence properly. Is this pervasive? Yes, it is pervasive. Then it is saying give a qualified opinion. It is material and pervasive? Yes, it is material and pervasive. Then give a disclaimer of opinion. And this is what the Institute has given us today. Last 2-3 years onwards, they have given this guidance to us now. Come back to this. Now, whatever opinion, whatever observations that you are making on, whatever observations you are making on the whatever observations you are making on one particular, this is one particular loan item, not all the loan items. This is one particular borrower loan account. I'm getting this. And now I'm asking the LLM to give me guidance in this. Now, what is the remedial action? Implement mandatory counter-signing procedure by branch official, require CA certification for stock statements above a threshold, conduct periodic blah, 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 etc., etc. Now, this is what, for all that it is saying. Now, it is saying in all the places it is for one borrower, if it is pervasive in, if say 35, if 10 accounts you have sampled, in the 10 accounts you have sampled, you are able to find these kind of things. Nothing prevents you from issuing an adverse or a opinion, as just now we have seen it. And this is, as I said, the pain point, the automation comes out of the pain point. The pain point is writing a report. And for writing a report, we are going for automation. Detailed risk data analysis. For risk assessment, you have designed a procedure. For term loan, we have designed a procedure. For stock statement, we have designed a procedure. Define and identify the anomalies. Pick the samples. Design procedure for validation of samples. We have just now seen. Observations, impact and reporting also we are trying to automate, because this itself is a big pain point. Automate. Now document the steps for future reference and training. Let me go back again. So this is what is the observations in the CC account, and through this CC account observations, now we are able to find out all these anomalies. So I just stop here for a while, and then I request Vijay sir, and then I'll come back to the related party transaction diversions and all I'll take up. That will be the end of the session before we leave it for question and answer.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We've already received around 18 questions. Maybe I'll address one or two so that we can proceed with. One most common question has been saying that ground reality is like, I'll not take the reference of any particular name because a couple of sensitive questions. Not sharing the data for making these kind of analytics. And he was referring to one particular bank where it says it's very tough to get the information or data from that. If you remember the first slide, when I started off, I was presenting the two ways where you have not received the data, when they have asked to use their own system, or if in case they are not allowed their own system also, you are using actually pen and paper where you are marking notes. Either way, how best you can make use of the technology what we have demonstrated. Okay, so I'm going to share that right up along with other utilities to the DAB. You just go through. It's more convenient for me because I don't need to worry about saying that no, we have shared the data and all. Even my notes should be sufficient enough to comment on the documentation to come up with kind of anomalies or whatever. Okay, so kindly please, for the sake of record, since 2003 and Premna sir even before, we've been doing bank audits, and each and every year the relevant data, whatever we picked up for the sample, it's pretty much available with us, and we have covered almost a majority of the banks. So it's just the way you put it forward. Okay, I mean, I might be too harsh when I say that, but if I'm sending a information requirement to the banks, let's say I've identified some around 20 kind of reports what I require to perform analysis. I've communicated through mail, and along with that, I'll also draft my documentation, audit planning and procedure, saying if once I receive these 20 documents, what is that I should be doing, what procedure I should be follow, what kind of analysis I should be doing, who is the person in my team who should be performing this particular activity, in what way, what he has done, what kind of comments he has to capture, everything. It's a pre-audit requirement. You just need to prepare that, because as I said, once you reach to the bank, you'll be into many other activities apart from the performing the particular sampling and all that stuff. So that way, prepare yourself, the list what you requested, what is that you have to do, what is the procedure you have to follow, and who is to do what. In that only, assuming that out of 18 lists, 2 documents have been not provided, 2 information, 2 MS reports what you have requested have not been provided. Along with the information about process and procedure what I document, I'll also document an opinion para. If in case this document is not provided, how is that I have to disclaim? How is that I have to mention that in my report, saying that the limitation what I am facing on not forming an opinion? That also you have to form at the time of requirement only. If in case not provided, what is that? Because once you have that, once the draft is being communicated to the branch owner, obviously I don't think he'll be risking to have those kind of limitations in the audit report or the disclaimers in the audit report. As I said, this is an art again. But saying so, if not the data, in what way you have performed your audit? Obviously, you have to think about saying that if the data is not provided, on what basis you are signing. So there should be a data, whether it is in your system or his system or whatever it may be. And second thing, if the data is not provided, how you are going to disclaim or what are the limitations you are going to mention in the report. That you prepare even before going, because you know what is to be asked, what information you are looking for. Accordingly, you prepare the documentation also on those grounds. Okay, that's that particular, because that couple of questions in that. And I think 3 to 4 questions on the same system only. With regard to the security and all that, I'll address at the end the way whether we have to share this information to AI, how far I can rely on the AI and all that stuff. I'll be addressing at the end, because I think that's one question I should be spending a little more time. Let me share the screen before we proceed further. Yeah. So I'll continue one particular analysis what Premnath sir has shown you with regard to the stock statement analysis. Why? Because that is one of the key areas when it comes to audit, especially because considering the challenge that the drawing power may not be, of course, I'm not saying this as general statement, but there are chances that the DPs, whatever they have calculated based on the statements what they have provided, may not be updated in the system. Okay, so one of the area what I suggest is wherein once you have an inspection happened in that particular bank, maybe try to pick up the sample more after the inspection date and pick up whether the particular DP has been updated as per the calculation what you have done on the stock statement, whether the DP has been updated in the system post your inspection of any officials or RBI of a particular branch. So that way, there is every possibility that till the inspection, the kind of diligence what they have carried may be a little easier once it comes to the inspection is over. So maybe you can pick up those particular dates of a particular system to check whether the DP has been calculated or not. At this point of time, let me also share one more interesting way we can make an analysis. Because of course, when we take a stock statement, we have seen Premnath sir demonstrated the way you can share the entire image of your stock statement with a prompt, which will do the analysis in all. Usually, let's assume this particular statement, if in case you want to have, it's not, they can't say no if you are looking for a stock statement prior to this financial year also. Okay, because when we speak about analysis, it doesn't have to be sticking to this financial year. I might be looking for the data previous financial year also. What we'll do is, I'll pick up the stock statements of the last year as well. Okay, you might feel it crazy, but yes, there is a purpose why I'm saying it. You might pick up a stock statement provided for the 12 months prior to this. If in case you are a continuing auditor, nothing like that, because already you have done this analysis last year. Now, what is that you can do good for this year audit if in case you are a continuing auditor? Go to the last year, assuming that, okay, let me just, for the sake, let me just change the dates and as if I'm going to demonstrate. So let me try to change the dates also so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. So let me change, I should be changing first 2024 to 2023, then changing 2025 to 2024. assuming this is the data what you have received the last year when you have performed the audit, and this year you already compiled the stock statement. So what you can do is, let's make use of a couple of time series analysis. Okay, time series analysis, we use a formula called forecast. What is that you can do? Let's assume that if this is the last year, and if I'm speaking about the current year, let me just include a couple of rows, or maybe I'll just include one more column here. Let's call it as April 2024. Okay, let me copy the format as well. Okay, and let's call it as May 2024. It should automatically fill. If not, let me just double click so that it will copy the formula. Okay, so what I can do is I can use something called time series analysis. What is the time series analysis? So if I'm use forecast.linear, what linear regression does based on the pattern for the last period, whatever what you call the date values you give, along with the y values. X value speaks about more or less like labels or date values. Y axis speaks about the value relevant to that. So let me use, say for example, for this particular date, for the values what I have received last year. Okay, then let me just freeze it. And for the dates what I've received last year, okay, what should be the expected forecast April should be? Because of course March we don't have. If March is there, probably that's the reason it is increasing. March might be closing stock might be little higher, or sales might be little higher. But assuming this, if I can run this, okay, considering the pattern what I have, I can predict what should have been the actual stock values based on the last year performance of the sales. What is the current year sales prediction? I'm predicting. So we will call it as predicted sales. What is good we have to do with it? What is that it benefits us? These predicted figures, I'll compare with the actuals of 2024, 24, 25, what he has given. That means considering the pattern of the last year time series, if in case it is continuing, the more or less the sale should be of that. If it is not happening, there is something has changed or some kind of thing, or even otherwise, it might give a clue saying that the values are not actually following a pattern. These are all the random values what they have generated, which is again one of the risks what we might be facing in stock statement. Okay, so this is where you have used forecast linear. And there is another way also. There is something concept called ARIMA and SARIMA. Of course, once I share this file, you can just understand this. Of course, you can just discuss with any GPT to understand what is ARIMA, what is the moving average. Okay, this usually will be used in predicting the stock value. If you are someone into share marketing and all, they can use this ARIMA and SARIMA concept, predict the share value based on the pattern of the share stock price movement over the past few periods. Okay. So that concept we can use on the sales provided for the last year, trying to predict for the current 12 months, then compare with the respective actuals what they are given. But here, if you see, it is using a pattern of an increment, which is not giving a right value. So in that case, instead of forecast linear, I can use something which incorporates this ARIMA concept called forecast.ets. I can use forecast.ets. Let's say for this particular target date, for the values what we have, let me freeze it. For the timelines what we have, what is the exact? So this gives much more comfortable kind of values than using the forecast linear. Okay, it uses a concept of ARIMA, that is seasoning. For 1 month to another month, what was the change? That also will be considered. Apart from that, you can also further make another analysis saying that if I am using the same forecast.ets, for this particular target date, let's come back wherein we change to this particular, so that now we can, or probably you know that you understood. Let me just copy and paste special what we are trying to do. So here I'll again go for forecast.ets, set the target date and set the values, wherein I'll ensure that the first value is freezed, and I'll ensure that the aggregate keeps on, the values of that particular selection keeps on changing. Similarly, for the period timelines, I'll use this, wherein I'll freeze the first part. Let me freeze this. F4. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to compare month on month as a ARIMA concept, the time series analysis, and try to predict what could be the sales based on the previous month. And let's just run this and see more or less whether all are in line. Now, as you can see, 168, the actual sales is showing somewhere around 155. 81, the time series analysis says the sale should have been 108. 126 should have been 146. September, of course, is matching. October is matching. November, 241. December, 212, almost like double. 92 double. So what we can do, we can just put a formula, try to find out the difference between these two and identify. As I said, I'm not saying that these are the long sales, what they have declared. I'm going with the pattern, trying to identify what are those additional information. As you can see, these cells and these cells are showing uneven pattern than the actual sales. So I'm going to pick up the financials of that, or maybe request a confirmation letters, or even otherwise, whatever you call about the audit alternative procedures, because we need to take care of this. You might say that I'm not an auditor to get into this. Yes, but it's also your responsibility to compare with the CMA data, what is provided, along with the stock statement, what is provided, along with the financial statements, what is provided, whether all are in line or any huge deviations is there, because EWS speaks about one of those. Now, this will help you early warning, saying that no, in sales, I might have to pick up these areas to do further investigation and identify if any red flags are there, whether it is a genuine sales or wantedly for the sake of increasing the DP, they have made any modification. So this particular way, using a time series analysis, of course, you have a best assistant to explain on this, that is ChatGPT or Claude, any you can say best I can use time series analysis or ARIMA concept or forecast, whatever it may be. It is going to train you, but using this, definitely you can further identify whether there's something to be worried about in terms of early warnings. Okay. Similarly, you can use the same pattern for sales, whether the data are in the same pattern as per the particular sales, raters as per the purchases. You can use this concept left and right in each and every area, comparing data with sales by using the value of sales for the debtors, and similarly for creditors, whatever it may be. But yes, definitely it will give a lot many insights. As I said, you need to have a little bit idea about Excel as well, because not only every time you need to depend on AI, even if this works, of course, from 2019 version onwards, or I think 2016 also it is there. But yeah, knowing Excel will give more comfort if in case you are using the same analytics in the system, branch manager system. Okay, so I thought I'll share this idea, continuing what Premna sir demonstrated. Let me see what I have in, as I said, a lot many things can be done, and let me just check if anything. Yeah, these are all again Python cases. And one more best resource, as Premna sir was also suggesting, if you visit the AI website, lot many videos have been demonstrated by our chartered accountant, fellow chartered accountants, young members, where they have demonstrated how best you can make utility of analytics in Excel or Word or whatever it may be. What best you can make, you can just watch those 10-minute video where you can get much more insights into using these technology tools. Okay, so let me stop my presentation here, and unless Premna sir has something to say, we'll take up questions, because I think good number of questions we received, and without addressing the question, I don't think webinar will be as much successful as it should be.
Yes, sir. One or two issues are there. I'll just touch upon those things and then leave for the question and answer. Yes. Very important issue, very repeatedly everywhere, not today, right from 2000 onwards, and talking about use of Excel, use of automation in bank audit. And
so you want to share a screen? You want to share the screen, or?
No, I'll share now. I'm saying every time since 2000 onwards, they keep asking me that bankers doesn't give data. If they don't give data, you just give a disclaimer and leave that place. What is stopping you? And anyhow, the institute template. Just now I have discussed about the institute template. Inability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidences that documents are not made available to you. The loan document statement is not available to you. You have to give a disclaimer. What is stopping you from giving a disclaimer? And we carry two kinds of audit reports, knowing this, because every time we have to handle this. At some point of time, we also ask them, give me in writing, referring to which is the RBI circular, which is stating that the data should not be shared with the auditor. Kindly share me the audit committee or the board resolution which has stated that the data should not be stored, should be shared with the auditors. When we have raised these issues, when we have asked them to put it on paper and reply to that, then the data started coming in. So these are certain things that we need to. As I said, two reports. One report is a plain report subject to the verification. We give it. The other report, we make it a draft. We take a draft soft copy to them. If you give the data, we will carry out audit and give this kind of report. If you don't give a data, if you don't give access to the data, this is the report where it have a disclaimer. If you want, you send it to your central statutory auditor, you send it to your management. I'll wait for 1 or 2 hours and then we'll decide it. I also tell them, don't send this via email, share it through your WhatsApp only. Then after 1 hour, they come down and they say, okay, sir, we are providing it. I can demonstrate right from 1998 onwards, 1997, 98 onwards, when the CBS is not there on this earth. From that stage, I'm having the data even today. For R&D purpose, we are maintaining all those data. So this is again reiterating it. Let us not try to say that I am not getting data. You can get the data if you use all your independence. If a chartered accountant, if an auditor is independent, I am damn sure you will get it. Now, whether central statutory auditors are not getting data, and how are they doing it? Without data, the central statutory auditors are doing it? No. So let's be tough. Let's be very tough in this. I'm damn sure we can get back. We can get it. As we are getting it, you can also get it. Okay, leave that as it is. Coming back here again. The two important things I said, the fund diversion is the biggest nuisance, I said. So taking the transaction analysis from the transactions, you can create a pivot on the description. Once I've created a pivot on this description and using VLOOKUP with the account numbers, then it has started showing to this account number these names. So what are all these names? What are all these names? To the surprise, from Toffler, if you can give any account, any company name which you are trying to look at. Say, for example, some company name you are trying to verify. In Toffler, you can get this data. So I'm just taking the...
That screen is not being shared.
Sorry. Again, the same problem. Right. So you can go to Toffler where you can get the network. So I'm just typing some number, some name which may not be relevant at all. Nothing against this company. So I go to network here. I click this network and then expand all the directors here. And the directors here are in directors in any other company, directors here or directors in any other company, and whether they have a cross-holding or so few of the directors are common directors in many of that. And if such names, you can transfer this data, into Excel as it is. And if such names are there, in this transfers, then this is a biggest lapse in this. It's a risk. Now, where do we get this risk? Early warning signals. Risks or early warning signals are there in the RBI has defined early warning signals. Earlier 45 they have defined, and now the latest circular they have removed all this 45 and they said included all the risks. Okay. So what? So what is the challenge has increased. Now the early warning signal rules master directions of July 2024, it says that a system of robust early warning signal is integrated in the core banking solution. What is early warning signal? All the risks and red flags which are not defined. Earlier they have defined, now they have not defined, meaning it is very open. Now they are saying it has to be integrated. This has to be integrated. And now one of the risk is early related party transactions. And how do I identify the related party transactions? In CBS, there is a facility in CBS. There is a facility in CBS. There is a facility in CBS in groups. This has to be marked. This has to be marked, and they are not marking this. So because of it, the system is unable to do it. Okay, leave this as it is. I'm just moving forward now. So to get out of this early warning signals, which is not integrated, now I have to carry out and design an audit procedure. Again, I'm coming back. Data analytics to get back to this. Just a moment. Yeah. Get back to this. Then define anomalies, pick samples, and so on. Just a moment. Hello. Sir. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this mantra has to be followed. And I've demonstrated the risk here, and then I leave it here for the paucity of time to take up the question and answers.
Yeah, moving forward, I think I can take up this area of question and answer also to demonstrate one particular aspect. One particular question, I think not just one, I think good number of questions on the security. I mean, can we share the information directly with the ChatGPT, or how is that? I'll just demonstrate what we follow so that maybe that will give a clue about, yes, I'm also pretty much worried about the security, the information, what we say. Say, for example, I'm doing an audit of, say, State Bank of India, and this is the data what I received. Okay, so what we'll do, I'll just check the length of these 19 alphabets. So I can probably use some kind of name so that it fits into that, because I don't want to disturb the number of characters in a text file, because if I try to manipulate those text file, I might see an issue with regard to alignment, especially in the automation tools what we have demonstrated. What I can do, I can just replace the State Bank of India with the name what I've identified. So what we can do, I'll just I'll copy this particular in a notepad saying this information has been modified to this. Step 1. Second, wherever alphabet A is there, I might change it to U. Wherever D is there, I might change it to Y. Wherever SR is there, you might change it to O. Okay, so this part your article student can do. Open a notepad, find replace State Bank of India with the particular name, find replace A with U, D with Y. This will entirely jumble the meaning of the name or meaning of the word, but still sticking to the text length. Then you upload. Is it not? So then once you uploaded, once you have performed analysis, once it has given an output report, you come back to this notepad, replace this back with the State Bank of India, replace O with R. Why? I'm saying, of course, I will not be using O because Obviously, there'll be lot many alphabets also. I'll be using special characters, like say at the rate, or which are not there in the text file, like at the rate or question mark or something. You can just identify the ways. But this is a procedure we can follow. I mean, doesn't have to be that every time I have to mask my data. I can codify my data. Pretty much good enough. Still you are worried. Let's say, okay, I'm still worried. Okay, why not you use PDF? PDF has AI. Okay, as you can see, this is the bank branch guidance note. I mean, bank branch guidance note issued by insured on the entire bank, where I have segregated the entire file into different segments: central audit, bank branch audit. Bank branch audit also roughly around 580 pages. Because the PDF capability of AI capability of PDF is 200 pages, I've split that file into 200 each or 150 each. Then used this particular plus add files, okay, and selected the guidance note 1, 2, 3, which is what you can see here, the collection of files. All those files I've added to single file, wherein I'm saying guidance note 1, 2, 3, that is the split of branch audit guidance notes into 150 pages each, sticking to the limit of the PDF. Then whatever I want to interact, let's say, what is the procedure, what is the audit procedure to be followed if an account, a account has not been captured as part of, I'm giving some vague kind of example, okay. But if in case the information has been published in the bank branch audit in any other form, doesn't have to be an exact wording. That's what the capability of LLM is. You don't have to be in precise in the same words. Otherwise, it will be Control F. It's not an LLM. But using this prompt, I can interact with the guidance note itself to help me provide with an audit procedure. Okay. So similarly, if you are worried about confidentiality, I'll come back to the one more. Let it process. I believe all of you use Microsoft OneDrives, Excel. Yeah. Question is whether you are using a subscribed version or you are not using a free version. Okay. And second thing, while you use subscribed version, whether you have enabled Copilot in your systems. See the beauty of this thing. I mean, where we are proceeding with, where we are heading our work towards. Let me just open the CCOD file, one of the CCOD file. Okay. And here, even text file has your Copilot. Okay, of course. Yeah, I don't rewrite, but I can put a prompt to analyze this file within the text file. So you have a Copilot artificial intelligence built in your text file also. Only thing is that whether you are using a licensed version. As I said, my notepad also shows the login of what you call Microsoft. It comes with a credit balance of 60 credits per month. Pretty much sufficient enough. Being a faculty, being a regular user, still I come up with balance of around 28 to 30 credits left over out of the 60. So it's all comes back to the way you plan. You keep on asking questions about security. Yeah, one question. Maybe I can just stop sharing and I'll put a question. How many of you are having OneDrive? For that matter, how many of you are communicating Gmail to your clients where you are sharing the bank statements and all? On what trust you are using these platforms? At least if I'm uploading something to ChatGPT, I cannot download in the same format. I can interact what is there in that particular document. I cannot download. But if it is there in OneDrive, if it is there in Gmail, if it is in Google Drive, and someone has access to your email, they can pretty much download. But if someone has access to your email through ChatGPT, they can't download, they can interact. And understand whenever you are asking about security, what is it matters with regard to security, or is it matters how you are using the output, whether you are reviewing the output, whether actually you are blindly depending on the output what it gives, or actually you are using intelligence to review that output. Think on those grounds. Put your efforts on that questioning, not on the security and all, because I know how it works in normal for that matter any form. Okay, so please stop worrying about the security. Stop asking questions about all those things. Of course, you need to take care of personal identifiers. No matter what, you don't need to upload the mobile numbers, names, email IDs, pictures. Yes, that part you have to be very careful. But I'm saying when you can confidently use Outlook, when you can confidently use OneDrive where they are sharing your file, what is that stopping you to? Saying so, I need to take care of the way I've shown the codifying the names and numbers and all. That part has to be taken. But saying so, your effort should be going on. Once I give a prompt, once I give output, who is going to review that? Am I reviewing line by line? Am I evaluating? So that is what you should be spending more time on that. Now let's take up a few questions apart from that. Of course, people asking about utility of bank branch audit for 2025. I think that has to be answered by Institute LFER latest. From 2021, once the revised version is there, it's pretty much same. And do we need to use CAGPT? Yeah, let me just share that why CA GPT is a step ahead of any other GPT for a reason that it's being used by our members through SSP portal login. By virtue of that, they are giving various prompts, they are uploading various documents. So my model of CA GPT is better trained than any other, particularly to the domain what we belong. So because of that interaction, this is a better model than any other thing because it's using the same platform of OpenAI. Only what it makes difference is because of by virtue of prompts and training what our members are giving, it is one step elevated compared to the other GPTs. Yeah, meaning of theoretical balance. Sir, you want to explain? Premna sir?
Yeah, excellently. Carry on, sir.
Yeah. So with regard to theoretical balance, if in case the account has been served without any failure, what should have been the actual principal outstanding? What should have been the actual interest outstanding as on the date of particular review? Okay, that's the theoretical system-driven balance, basically, if everything is paid. Okay, we compare theoretical balance with the actual balance being shown in the system so that you were to, especially when it comes to principal, they identify that a particular difference, whether it is exceeding 3 months, so that we can consider it to be overdue beyond 90 days. If not, that's why we can take a call. So that is where we'll be using theoretical balance to compare the actual balance, identify the principal part, and see whether it is outstanding beyond 90 days or sometimes depending on the kind of classification, even the interest part also. And these tools will be made available to the fellow members. Yes, of course, we'll be sharing with the DAB and of course, after sanitizing, we'll not be sharing the practice files, that is CCOD files and although it is sanitized and we don't want to risk. But what we'll be sharing is the content in terms of prompts, the file, what we have demonstrated, the actual utility, what we have demonstrated as a HTML, that part we'll be sharing. But again, as I said, if it is not working or working, that's where probably you can just watch the video, how to rectify, how to debug that and all, that can be very much used. Conducting session freeze guide, if you want to send viewers email, you can download it separately. It will be shared by the DAB over a period, maybe in a day or two, probably just.
Yes, sir. All the tool and the formats will be shared in our DAB homepage.
Yes.
We'll also mail the participants regarding the same.
Great.
Yes. So I think, so largely, we have a wonderful coverage of. I mean, it's a marathon session. If I were to put in a word, so much in a live demonstration of everything that we were talking about. Not just ideation or not just sharing of ideas, but real sense demonstration. So I think kudos and fabulous sessions, sir. A lot of takeaways, a lot of things. So I'm sure, therefore, there'll be a lot of questions, a lot of perspectives when people will actually go and start working on this. So we'll wait for that. And, friends, you can please reach out to us whether you have these. And probably, sir, I've got a lot of messages on my WhatsApp personally saying that, let us have this kind of a session, maybe a revision just before the start of a bank audits. So
Sure.
probably we'll plan that again. And Ankur bhai, I think questions we've all consumed overall. Yeah. Vijayji, anything else? I think everything is conveyed, and that everyone is waiting for the tool. So let me tell you that there is some small little hygiene work that has to be done on these tools. We're doing that. We're in the process of, while we are conducting this session, while we're talking, still work is going on, and that will be hosted on the DAB website very soon. To all the people who have already attended, of course, we'll mail back to you. Make sure that you receive emails from domains of ICAI @ICAI.org and ICAI.in. So GDAB is our Ankur bhai, what is our this email address?
GDAB @ICAI.in.
And so make sure that please GDAAB@ICAI.in is in your preferred list. Otherwise, it goes into spam, or it can bounce off as well. But make sure that or maybe each one of you can just ensure that you're receiving emails from that. So one of the emails, and you can move it to inbox. Any mail if you find from GDAB, just move it to your primary inbox, so that you will start getting it instead of your promotional or marketing or social. You will get it in your primary inbox. So with that, I think this has been an amazing session overall. Vijayji and Premnaji, sir, really 3 hours sitting in front of the screen, talking, a lot of energy that gets generated, consumed. So I must really congratulate. Let's have a huge round of applause for both of you, sir.
Thank you.
Super passion, super commitment, and a wonderful explanation once again. Ankur bhai, any last parting words that you wish to have?
Sir, I think seeing the response from the participants, we need to have more such sessions, and we should plan more such sessions. And we'd like to thank both our eminent speakers for taking out time, and special thanks to you for staying for the whole time, for all the 3 hours.
Yeah, it was engrossing, so it was gripping, and therefore I stayed back, and I was really happy. In fact, people didn't allow me to leave because I'm constantly getting some of the other messages. So this is happening, that is happening. Can we do this? Can we do this? And that's the entire idea. We would be happy if people, any of you who are live, if you want to share your feedback, please write to us. Please reach out to us. Use your chat GPT, use Gemini, use Copilot, generate some feedback. Good feedbacks, I think we'll be happy. Or you can directly write to the speakers as well. I'm sure they'll be very elated. They'll be very happy to hear from you. And probably we'll do one of this session once again just before start of the audit, with much more refined and much more. There were statements for CCOD. Friends, if you just go back in your working papers, probably you will find CCOD files in your own hard disks, in your own archives. Whoever has done bank audits, and people who have not done bank audits, this is the right time to do networking. Go and check with your friend, a chartered accountant who has done a bank audit. Ask for a CCOD file. Imagine the look on his face when you will go and ask, "Arey, ek CCOD file de dena, bhej dena." So that's the kind of impact, But do try this out. Otherwise, you will miss this entire learning curve immediately. Or the best part is, train someone with all of this. So talk to them, brainstorm with them. Once this video is curated, we'll host it back on YouTube so that you can actually train your staff. You can train chartered accountants in your offices with this. I think 3 hours it will be a very good learning session as well. So I'm sure all of them will be enriched as of now. Rest, we wait to hear from you. Let us know if you need anything else. Thank you very much. Have a lovely time. Vijay bhai, Premnath sir, any closing remarks?
Yeah, just don't be scared of technology. I mean, I would rather say this: if you are practicing income tax for the last 30 years, does it mean that I can ask any question in income tax? No, you are concentrating only filing or maybe 115 section 9 and all. You learn what is required for you. At the same way, technology, you focus on what is required. Don't need to worry about what's happening around the world. Let 38,000 tools come and whatever. You identify one tool which is required. Concentrate on that. Be comfortable. Anytime you have institute support, let's see how best we can leverage this technology as a members. That's the only way I can probably conclude. Thank you.
Premnath sir.
Only one mantra: risk assessment through data analysis. That analysis, codify it and automate it. Nothing else. Simple.
I think this is the biggest product that chartered accountants today can market themselves for. Yeah. One of the wonderful things that only we can do, not everyone else. That's fabulous. And regarding, sir, largely these concerns are regarding, sharing of data, writing of things on ChatGPT. So it's a small little investment that you should do in investing a good licensed ChatGPT. And I think all of us can really do that investment. Of course, we at ICAI are also planning to try and see how many licenses, or can we obtain something on a bulk basis for all our members. But till that time, I think might as well request all of you, because if you look at the costing, it is less than what you spend on your newspapers and maybe on your OTT platforms. Absolutely. So with these, thank you very much. Have a wonderful time. make the most of your bank audits and all the other audits. Do your documentation right, and as Premnath sir rightly mentioned, risk, data analytics, and documentation. Combine these three to make your fort formidable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ankushji.
Sir, permit me to leave, sir.